Yo, 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 yo. I think I'm live now. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever the time may be, welcome back to the channel. Or welcome for the first time if you're new around here. My name is James, aka Widowed, and today we are here to learn all about what 2024 has in store for old school RuneScape. I'm very excited. I've lost my lighter though, which is a major issue. Never mind, we found it. How's everyone doing tonight? I've never watched one of these live before, so it's going to be fun. I feel like I've seen bits from one, but I haven't been back around the game long enough to, like, have been aware that it was happening particularly. But yeah, if you got any predictions for what we might see, feel free to pop them down in chat. And I'm wondering if we might get teased a Varlamore raid. That's the one thing that, like, hasn't been, you know, openly discussed that I'm wondering if we might see tonight. But who knows? Who knows? Not long to find out anyway. I like how they switched from the chill old school music to like the upbeat hype music right before it's about to kick off. Sup, Harley? Nice to see you, my guy. What do you think we're gonna get teased on today? I don't know how far behind you all are. The chat might be like a couple minutes behind. I need to 3D print some more RuneScape stuff. Because I have two 3D printers, and the only thing I've made with them that's RuneScape related is my DDS. I don't know if... Well, yeah, there's the camera. Oh, you can't see the tip because it's green, and we're on a green screen. It's made it all grey. That's funny. Can't afford to buy me too much of it. Nah, no one cares about items. It's about content, right? I don't give a shit about items. I care about, like, new content. I guess an item could count as content, but usually it's the content the item comes from that we care about. At least for me. Here we go.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Old School Winter Summit. I'm your host, Mod Aiza, and I'm joined by the wonderful Mod Kieran. How the bloody hell are we?
I am good, really excited. We got a lot of awesome content to show you tonight.
We do, don't we? There's going to be a huge amount of content being shown off today. We're going to have various different J-Mods joining us in the studio, or should I say the cabin, as we are now in. It's very cozy in here, so make sure you stay tuned. We've also got a whole bunch of giveaways throughout the entirety of the stream, so make sure you don't go anywhere because you'll have chances to win from the start all the way through to the end. Before we get into things, let's manage some expectations. I can already see over 9,000 of you spamming this in the chat right now. We don't have a release date for sailing, but what we will have for you is some really important and exciting information regarding your first chance at getting your hands on the technical alpha playthrough of the actual skill itself. So look forward to more information regarding that a little bit later on. And I think you have something else to share with us.
Does that mean one of the things on the roadmap is not sailing?
Any news about a new league just yet? Obviously, we've just wrapped up Trailblazer Reloaded, which has been amazing. We've seen so much of your love for that. But it's a bit too soon to get into a new one just right now. But we do want
Summer Summit?
feedback on the last league. Tell us a bit more about what you thought about it and so on. So we do have a survey set up for that. So !Summit in the chat, and that'll give you a link to that survey.
Fantastic. Thank you for the update on that one, Kieran. Now, you know what they say, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. But by the end of tonight, you will know what you'll be getting in the first few months of this year.
Well, let's have a look at the shape of our roadmap, shall we?
I think we should.
Are they just going to do it all at once?
Ooh, how exciting.
Oh, that's the shit.
Lovely question marks.
There are a lot of question marks in there, aren't there?
Okay, so this has to be Varlamore.
By the end of the stream, won't we?
I think we will, indeed. Now, if this is the first time that you've joined into us, we will be going through these periodically throughout the rest of this evening. You've got us for around about 2 hours or so. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, as I said before, stay
Alright, folks, you got me for around 2 hours.
Before, I guess, we go into our first giveaway, maybe we can cover some of the things that won't be shown off in the roadmap reveal. Some of our smaller updates.
Rune Pouch, I'm hoping, is not going to make it to this panel.
Need some attention given to them as well. So let's talk about first maybe a precarious little rat. Scurious.
Oh, Scurious isn't on the panel even.
Summer Summit. We mentioned that would soon introduce some mid-level PVM in order to bridge the gap
That's cool.
between mid and end game content. Now, we know that Varlamore is going to introduce plenty of PVM options in the form of Perilous Moons, Fortis Coliseum. We're going to share some more information about that later on, but we're not going to stop there, because Scuras the Rat King is designed to introduce core PVM mechanics and help newer players get to grips with.
Now, I like the idea behind this boss.
Rambunctious rodent, that's a word and a half, isn't it?
It's
And
really
his
trippy.
From what I remember, though, they
overhead prayers,
like rewards are only the weapons that you get as a reward. You can only use in this.
that you'll need to master if you plan to take on tougher bosses later in your adventuring career.
I just saw Chad maging in an obby cave.
Why aren't I taking on an account right now? I don't understand the question.
So, what about XP rates? It's offering us something a bit different reward-wise, right? Like, how are we handling XP rates? What XP rates?
Oh, why aren't I AFKing right now? I should be.
Of actual XP rates, we're going to be keeping the exact numbers.
I just want to, like, give my internet as much as it could for this.
Balancing and testing. We want to be sure that we can get.
I should be a Nightmare Zone or something, but I've been there a lot last few days.
That we expect slaying Scurious to essentially be one of the most effective ways for you to train melee in particular, right up until the end game. Now,
That's
the reason
cool.
for this is that unlike traditional AFK methods like Nightmare Zone or Sand Crabs, you're expected to be paying full attention and having to interact with the game much more often.
I don't hate that.
Games that you might make along the way training something like Slayer, there's not really anything else in it for you beyond the combat experience that you'll be getting. So that is pretty much what we're aiming at. It should be good. Obviously, you know, things like Magic have Barrage, Range has Chin Chompers, which can give you really high experience.
Yeah, no, we do need something like that for melee.
Similar
100%.
melee. So we hope they should offer a really cool, fun and interactive way of training, as opposed to just sitting there and learning AFK. And if you don't want to do that, you can.
I don't know how they're planning to make the melee experience better for that,
Boss, right?
but
It is.
It's got to drop something.
It does.
What's it dropping?
Well, enter the Bone Whip. Nah, I'm just kidding. No Bone Whip today. But we do have Rat Bone weaponry. There'll be a weapon for each of the 3 different styles. You have a mace for melee, a bow for ranged, and a staff for mage. And they'll help you fight against the actual boss itself, increase your damage potential, and then also increase your experience. In addition, you can get spines, which can then be redeemed for experience lamps in combat XP specifically.
Okay.
And then, of course, it wouldn't be a boss without a pet, so we do have the Scurious pet coming alongside it.
yeah, the problem is that from what they said in the initial, I don't know if they've changed it since,
And
but
unfortunately, the
initially you couldn't use the weapons outside of this encounter. If the bone weapon can be used outside as well, it might be okay.
I think out. When can players expect this?
real soon, and by real soon, we mean next week. It's coming
Awesome.
on the 4th of January, so you won't have long to wait for this one.
Should get more details soon then.
Coming straight out the back of the summit, so.
Awesome. Well, that's enough about Scurious. We've also got some combat achievements to talk about. You'll have noticed it's been a while since we released Desert Treasure 2.
Yes, I was complaining about this in leagues.
Very soon as well. Get your gear together and get your practice in, meow, as the 4 Desert Treasure 2 bosses will have their new challenges added.
About time.
You're not as subtle as me with that one,
No,
are you? No.
I thought I'd make it obvious. I'm setting the tone for the rest of the show.
On God, I think I'm better.
With new challenges added, it means the thresholds for the combat achievement rewards will go up. You may complete some additional tasks to re-obtain your Gommel's Hilt. But do remember, last year we made a big change to combat achievements and changed to the points system, which would mean it's a lot more generous than it used to be as well. When are those coming? Straight after the Rat King, the week following on the 31st of January.
You really didn't want me to ask that question of them taking so long, did you? Went straight into the release date. I was prepped for it, but Kieran said
They have
no.
taken a while, and that's something we need to do better with future combat achievement rounds too.
Is there anything we can maybe talk on that just briefly for a moment? Because it has been.
I felt kind of robbed in leagues by the fact I couldn't get combat tasks at
Before combat
DT2.
came out afterwards. What was the reasoning behind that?
So the approach we took with the Desert Treasure 2 bosses, and indeed with the other bosses we released since combat achievements, is we've developed the achievements after the launch of the boss. The reason we did that was so that we could look at how a player's taking on the bosses, what times would be suitable for the challenge times, and all those sort of things.
Yeah.
I can respect that part of it.
That's caused some knock-on issues as different projects.
People probably come and go throughout the stream. I'm not gonna be like, it's the thing, I don't want to talk over it too much, because obviously you're here to watch the thing too. So, I'm just sort of like talking when I have things that I think are relevant to say.
Maybe we can all grow stronger.
This week, we've also made some adjustments to the Fang and Scythe, many of you might be happy about that, some of you might be less happy about it, but that's just the start. We have many more positive changes coming.
I don't have either yet, so it makes no difference to me.
Lots of different types of changes. More's coming to combat, whether it's gear, NPC stats, but also improvements to things like agility.
Please.
How annoying is it to run out of run energy? I'm passionate about this. I wanted it changed for a while.
How annoying is it to have to run laps? Or mine?
Especially after shooting stars, that a lot of you really want to see better improvements made to core mining and all the different ways
Woodcutting.
to skill.
Fuck forestry, right? All you have to do to make woodcutting good, yeah? Not overpowered, but just good again. Make farmable trees, the trees that you grow,
Thank you so much for the update. This was kind of like our little
able to note logs to a leprechaun. If you get the logs from a tree that you grew, you can note it to a leprechaun. That's all they need to do. Woodcutting fixed.
Let's just remind you all that when we go through each of the reveals, there will be a corresponding blog going out at the same time, so check out the news page over at oldschool.runescape.
Oh, okay.
You'll see all of them being updated with loads more information that we've been able to share here, but you'll be able to get live questions answered from the lovely mods as they join us, as well as all the fantastic videos that the team have spent a massive amount of work and effort on putting together. They're incredible, so genuinely I think this is going to be an absolute amazing show. Keep an eye out for those. What else?
You may also realise how excellent Aiza is looking,
Oh.
because he's wearing some brand new Old School RuneScape merch.
And you are too, actually.
No way!
How did that happen? Look, I
Look
got a
at
little,
this little guy.
this one, a little Jad in my pocket.
Yeah, we can't see that, bro.
Coming out to say hello. They're
Little Zora.
super comfortable. Really, really, really nice to wear, actually. I'm really happy with them.
Yeah,
And,
pretty much every guest on tonight's stream, I think, is wearing something as well.
yeah, we got the JMod
They're
uniform.
way too tiny, though.
It's sick.
They're not on sale just yet, but it will be literally next week, so keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, and then lastly,
Like, if they made it the same size as the pocket, it would work so much better.
all of the content that we've been talking about, so that you can give us the go-ahead to start early development, get ready with all the more detailed designs, so that we can come back later on in the year throughout community.
I don't think you have to give them a different item ID. I think you can just give them a variable tagged, this came from a player tree. If it gets banked in the meantime, then you just get rid of that variable. It's only...
Not one,
It only exists for as long as the logs are in your inventory.
3 amazing partners to give you some of the hottest new old school RuneScape merch. It's fucking brilliant. Gee willikers, Mod Kieran. Wouldn't you say that this stuff is epic?
Yes, it absolutely
Thanks.
is. Not the way you put it, but but it is epic.
It is. So we're using Discord to run these giveaways. Make sure you join the official Old School RuneScape Discord for a chance to win. To be able to get a link and join over there, use !Discord. Details of how to enter are in the hashtag giveaway channel, so have a look. And just as a heads up, please don't annoy the mods over at Discord, because if you spam, it will not increase your chances of winning. It's just going to make you look like a fool. You'll end up getting timed out or something like that. So yeah, all of the information on how to win will be there. You'll just
As if they think that people on the internet are worried about looking like a fool.
away as it comes on, which the first the first review
Clearly they don't know the internet.
that we played a VT.
Yeah, it is. What you got?
Hey Ed, wait. Wonder, could you tell me about that landmass you're working on off to the west?
Oh, yes, Varlamore. Well, actually, why don't I show you?
Ed, I don't think we're in Cambridge anymore.
Welcome to Civitas.
Let's fucking go.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Great, Ed. But have you noticed we've been turned into RuneScape characters? I haven't been this slim in years.
Don't worry
I
about.
feel like they've got his mannerisms perfect.
Anyway, why don't I show
What Ash?
you Fortis Aqua? Oh, check out this little guy. Isn't he cute? Oh, let's go for a swim.
Yes, I'll admit that is cute, and this place is very interesting, but we still need to figure out how to get out of here.
Now come, you have to see the dwarves of Camtorum.
Dwarves built this? I didn't think it'd be so tall. It's incredible.
Now, believe it or not, these dwarves were once Lovacane dwarves. They fled south during Xeric's Age of Strife. They're independent from the Kingdom of Varlamore, given the human habit of starting wars left, right, and centre. So,
Yeah, we do
they're
that.
not allowed in here without good reason.
Oh, is that why they're looking at us like that?
Yeah, we should probably get going. The Hunter Guild is just south of here.
Oh, look, it has a bar. That's good, my teacup's getting empty. Bone grapes, what was that?
The Quetzals. The locals have trained them to be used as a transport all around the kingdom.
Make it better than eagles.
I've always wanted mounts, but it sounds terrifying.
Wait, do we get mounts?
I reckon I know where that one's heading. Come, I've got one final place to show you. Welcome to the Coliseum. This is a wave-based PvM minigame. The gameplay is heavily focused on reactionary combat and making risk versus reward choices between each wave.
Ah! I thought you said this place was PvM. Wait, is one of us an NPC?
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Wait, which one's the NPC? I love how they got like Moshad's mannerisms perfect.
What is a Varlamore? I mean, that's a very loaded question.
God, I don't know how to sum up Varlamore. Varlamore is like one of the biggest expansions we've ever made for old school. Entire new lands, entire new quests, entire new people. It's like a fusion of Rome and Mayan.
It is
Yeah, I got the Mayan influence from the...
packed into one update.
We've got Civitas Illa Fortis.
We have the Coliseum.
Perilous Moons.
The Hunter Guild.
We have agility, we have thieving, we have combat, we have questing. There's just so much to get deep stuff into.
What is Varlamore?
What is Varlamore?
Varlamore is a. Hang on.
So Varlamore is the latest area.
Varlamore is quite isolated from the world right now. It is a region that has not been accessible by anything pretty much.
Moshad.
Mountain pass.
Shout out to Moshad.
Being opened up so that people can come in.
To some people, it will be a landmass where there's some content they engage with. To others, it will be a sort of very story-rich push into the future for old school RuneScape's narrative.
Why is it being released in so many parts?
Why are we doing it more?
I genuinely could not tell you.
Because it's just so large. There's so much stuff that we really want to do for Varlamore, and trying to do it all in one big go, we run a lot of risks of like burning out players as well as developers.
I think it also helps as well because we can take the learnings from batch 1 and make sure batch 2 doesn't make the same mistakes. Same with batch 3 as well. And you know, it gives us the opportunity to slowly unlock the world and still give.
So 3
How do players access
updates.
Birds.
You take a giant Quetzal and you fly the Quetzal into Varlamore.
I mean, what's more fitting to access Varlamore than going via boat?
Are you sure that's accurate? So Mod Sarni said that you go there via boat. Is he an idiot?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. When you arrive at Civitas
Crime. That's what you can do when you're around.
Lovely.
So the Fortis will be starting place. As you enter Varlamore, you'll be brought, I think, just outside the museum.
Pickpocket a man.
The whole city.
We've got stalls for you to thieve from. We've got citizens and guards for you to pickpocket. We've also got a dog for you to pet for everyone that finds that a very valuable part of their gameplay.
In leagues, it gets you 10 points.
Yeah, there is a dog in Varlamore. I would say, unfortunately, as much as I love the dog in Varrock, it's a big step up.
Coliseum, man. Tell us about
Coliseum. The Coliseum is the biggest building in old school RuneScape. I think you could probably fit the pyramid from TOA inside the
God damn.
Coliseum, so it's gargantuan.
There's a lot of small little dudes, is the best way I can describe it. You've also got shield walls. You're going to have to maneuver around actual mobile terrain to block lines of sight, to block enemy pathing.
Sounds pretty good.
Careful, because if you block line of sight to some of them, you're in trouble.
We tried to like focus on a core set of creatures as well. We've got a manticore, sort of like this human jaguar scorpion hybrid. We've got the minotaur, which is very classic. I guess it's more Greek, but you know, Rome, Greek, they kind of just borrow from each other. We've got the colossi. Quite like the idea of the colossi of Rhodes sort of being referenced for a Colosseum. So you're fighting this giant bronze statue, basically. We have this cool throne where the main boss is sitting. That's going to be awesome. He's watching you fight. He's really disinterested until you like get to him and he's like, okay, cool, I get to deal with you now. That's going to be exciting to see.
Does the main boss have a catchphrase?
Catchphrase?
It's stomping time! Is it that?
Yeah, it's stomping time.
Is the spoiler that the enemy in the Coliseum was actually the dog the whole time?
If that were the twist, I wouldn't tell you.
So they're just, like, not showing us what the boss is? How... How troll would it be if the final boss of the Coliseum was Jad?
He returns to you, essentially a boomerang, but dangerous.
That would be so troll.
Separate pieces, a head, a body, and legs, and acts as a direct upgrade to the proselyte set.
Oh, I'm a big fan of that.
Will be given
And this.
for your first completion of the Coliseum, and is a direct upgrade to Ava's assembler.
So, can you please tell us more about Perilous Moons?
Even though I just got my assembler.
Perilous Moons is a quest and a dungeon and a set of bosses. The quest will focus on how this dungeon came to be discovered. It's a fairly recent event, and one that the dwarves
Is that a D20?
occupy the city above the cave have been a little bit distressed by.
So for Perilous Moons, I've been the one animating the new Nagwas, who are these new spirits, and they've been imprisoned in the Perilous Moons dungeon underneath Kamtorum. It's just really cool to like be on the ground floor animating these new characters and just exploring them, really.
We've designed the experience to be a repeatable one. Every time you enter the dungeon, your experience will be slightly tweaked. Not by extreme amounts, but you won't be having the same run twice.
If it's like the Gauntlet in that way, then dope. That'd be another... Like, having different things like the Gauntlet.
You'll suddenly realize, hang on, I don't need to bring any supplies with me because I can do this perfectly.
Yeah, so on the Perilous Moons rewards, got the Eclipse set that is going to let you inflict an all-new damage over time effect, the Burn. We've got the Frost Moon set that blends magic and melee so that every time you cast a spell, you have a chance to sneak in a melee attack for some extra DPS. You have the Jewel Mackerel Whittles, the Blood Rager set, which is going to let you absolutely shred low defense enemies.
That is the
Maracas.
Oh my god, yes, the maracas of the Blood Rager set. I don't think they're going to play maraca sounds, unfortunately.
They should.
Though,
Like the,
we'll make a way to do it.
like the leaf guy in Zelda.
Can you please tell us a little bit about the Hunter?
Oh, the Hunter Guild.
Hunter's Guild is intended to pretty much revolutionize the way you play a hunter. Right now, the Hunter's Guild very much consists
Garbage.
of birdhouses
And garbage.
and black chinchompers, which, you know, good pieces of content, but we'd like it to be a bit more varied.
The Hunters Guild is a must for both aspiring and master hunters. You can take on rumors from the hunters there and capture creatures from within Varlamore or around the world.
More of these mechanics are good.
Rewards to boot, including
If they did, like, it's like farming contracts for hunting, basically. If they did more stuff like that for, like, crafting, maybe fletching, like some of the other skills, it'd make them a lot better to just passively train with standard methods.
Some of the lore behind Varlamore, it has a deep lore. We have lore about the genesis of the city. We have lore about why the Coliseum is there and what was there originally. We have lore of the dwarves. There's lore of the Varlamorians and the rest of the lands. We got the Fremeniks in there, and they have their own reasons. I know we have lots of lore. I don't necessarily know the particular bits of lore. I can't open the book and start telling the story, but oh god, there is so much lore.
That's a lot of lore.
There is bigly lore. Varlamore has been an absolutely enormous team effort, and not just the internal team, but the players as well. Everyone's come together on this one. I think we've made something really memorable.
Well, when are we seeing it?
People
If they're gonna do 3 this year, then it's gonna be soon.
and seeing it all finally come together.
Then we get 1 in summer and 1 in winter.
Woven into one big rope of Varlamore.
Not only is it going to be a massive piece of content, there has been so much passion poured into this, and we want to make sure that we're giving everyone the most they can get out of this piece of content.
I think you're really going to feel like you're in RuneScape, but somewhere you've never been before. And I think that's going to be like one of the greatest parts of it, really.
I think players should get excited for this because it is just so much content packed into one update. We're hoping that this is going to be content that people can dig into for months at a time.
I mean, you get 6-hour logs, so...
Just be excited for Varlamore. It's gonna kick ass. Like, honestly, I don't know if I can say that, but I've said it. So yeah, it's gonna kick ass. It's gonna kick ass. Get ready for it.
Varlamore, woo! Not a total surprise, but we do now have a release date. March
Let's go.
20th.
March 20th.
Really exciting.
2 months exactly, today.
Now joining us on the sofa.
Okay.
And
That is not long at all.
welcome to the stream. We've got some questions we're going to find out a little bit.
What releases in that initial wave? Is it the stuff we've seen or more? Or...
With the Coliseum, how does this differ to the existing wave-based mini games we have in game?
I think there's definitely elements in terms of combat and gameplay that are going to feel very familiar to people that have done like the Inferno and the fight pits. I think it's the loop mainly that feels different. Unlike with the other 2 wave minigames, there's less of an investment. So you go in, you can fail, and you don't really feel terrible. You know, if you get clapped at wave 40, you're not going to rage quit. I think the loop is very different there.
Sure.
The player has a lot of
That's good.
agency over when they leave. They can see their loot, they can see what their modifiers are that are coming up next, and they can decide if they want to continue with it, which is really cool.
I like that it's variable and that you don't just have to get to the end or fail.
Every run is going to be the same, which is really neat. And I think those 2 elements really help to sort of distinguish it from the other base minigames.
I think it's just shorter, right? And so when you don't have to invest an hour and 30 minutes, you just have to invest 20. You get clapped at 10 minutes. Go again.
The main thing is the reward space.
I'm going to beat it once, and I'm basically done with it. This is something people will come back to.
If they want it to be repeatable, then it needs more of a reward space than the fight caves, because the fight caves, it gives you a cape. Yes, it's a very good cape. Can't get it anywhere else. This does the same thing. You beat it the first time, you get your upgraded ranged cape that has Avers, but better.
Good on camera.
But if you want people to come back to it and play it again and again and again, then the actual reward space within it has to be good as well.
Situation as well. I can beat the Inferno, right? Do I still have a reason to care about this content?
For what it's worth, I can't beat the Inferno either, which is terrifying.
Me neither.
For someone working on the Coliseum. But there absolutely is a reason for essentially everyone who's going to Varlamore. There is a reason for you to go to the Coliseum. Check it out. Aside from the fact that it's just fun, there's a ton of rewards. Well,
That's got to be the day 1 content, really, hasn't it? It's got to be the thing that everyone wants to do on day 1.
Giving it a go. We've got things like bank unlocks.
So you can be the first to do it.
Ability shortcut. Just stuff that's just general quality of life that will mean you want to go there.
Definitely a reason then throughout.
For sure.
Really nice to hear. Sorry, you were going to say, Ross?
Oh yeah, I was just going to say, like, big one is farming patches, right? We love farming patches.
Ooh.
Unlocking a second one, you need to beat like wave 2 with a decent amount of glory, and you've got that. That's not particularly hard to do for someone who's beat the fight caves. So if you arrive in Varlamore, you're probably going to want to head to the Coliseum, even if you can't get to wave 12.
There's only 12 waves?
Despite developing and designing the Inferno, I haven't beat the Inferno myself. So don't let that be a worry that that you can't beat it to the Coliseum either. I think you can still make awesome content.
I don't think it's unreasonable for people to design content that they can't complete. Because the best players in the world are always going to be better than the best developers in the world.
The Coliseum, we have something that's a bit like Barrows. The comparison was made.
Just always.
What's been the most difficult part about creating something like that?
From like a
Rewards.
board game, card game design perspective, because I have experience there.
Slot stuff. They're like interesting.
As the designer, you are the best at your game until
Has been a challenge. Like we really want people.
a week after it's been released to the public.
And think, what should I do next?
A month, depending on how long it takes them to get the hang of it. And then there are people better than you, and you will never be the best at your game again.
Those challenges. And
So, like,
combat loop that people can integrate into without.
I think it's better for the developers to make content that they can't do, to be able to challenge the very higher
I think that Varlamore looks
echelons of the player base.
seeing the visuals throughout.
That makes sense to me.
Enough of a real for me personally. But what's it been like as developers to see the art team bring the whole of the content really to life?
I mean, it's particularly insane for me because you know, this is the first project I'm working on, and I've gotten to work with some like really talented animators, really talented character artists. You saw them in the video. The Nag will look great. They look fantastic, and the dungeon looks just as good. You haven't seen all of it yet, but yeah, it's just a really impressive piece of work. And the rest of Varlamore too. Like it's such a big landmass, but so much love and care has gone into like every single square. So yeah, very good.
It's the same story on like, every project I've worked on. You start off and you've got like grey cubes, you've got like some Inferno NPC hanging around somewhere, and as time goes on, everything just starts to click into place, and it starts to feel like a real piece of content, and it makes your confidence go up immediately. Like
Everything starts with grey cubes.
a big circle basically, and as I'm developing, I'm seeing like another.
Exact same with board and card games.
There's pillars.
Everything starts off with white boxes.
You know, on your updated stream, and suddenly there's just new
White boxes, numbers, and letters. By the end, you have a finished product.
We mentioned is a hunter guild. Can you tell us a bit more about like why we chose to do hunter rather than a different guild?
I think Hunter has just generally been neglected a bit over the years.
Crafting needs to be next. Crafting is the most neglected skill, in my opinion, by far.
Found that Hunter is just one of the top things that needs a bit of love. It needs a guild as well. It hasn't had a guild for forever. And yeah, it's just felt like an appropriate place to do it. You've got like a big savannah.
Every skill should have a guild, in my opinion.
So
It all pulls together naturally, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think as well, like, there's just so much variety already in the...
But a guild should be as useful as the farming guild is for farming.
Butterflies and
Otherwise, it's not much of a guild.
So it's like, okay, let's give people a reason to actually go and engage with this content, because everyone's just doing birdhouses, which is fine, but, you know, we want variety in the game.
I like the sound of that. I think it is very much needed, because you're right, there is so much content available in Hunter that no one bothers with because there's just no real point at the moment. So
There's no use for it, yeah.
to change that. I have to ask though, what part of Varlamore are you most excited about?
I think it's all very cool, but for me, it's got to be the Coliseum. I can't wait to see players get in there. I'm excited to see how difficult they actually find it.
I'm excited for the Perilous Moons thing too.
Content for a while. I think this is going to be the one.
I like having the large challenges, but I like having smaller, repeatable things that take like 10 to 20 minutes. Have a decent reward space, and you can get some XP along the way. Those are like the perfect PVM challenges, in my opinion.
For people to get their hands on it.
You're allowed to be biased,
yeah,
it's fine.
I want to see people love it. I want to see people tear it to shreds. I want to see what people think of what we're putting forwards. We've got some new concepts going in there, a little bit less reliance on the bank. We've got just exploration integrated with the combat loop. It's a bit new. Want to see how people receive it.
I know everyone's like, RuneScapers nowadays are like, oh, we're so efficiency minded, we don't want to waste our time. I'm just like, the vibe of Varlamore looks incredible, doesn't it? It feels like RuneScape, but quite a different direction, and I really quite like seeing that sort of thing. The viaduct.
I think that's less of the players. Like, it's less on the players to... You can't blame us for wanting to be efficient when everything in the game is so slow.
But you just don't know every tile of, basically.
I think Mod Ed put it in a really elegant way is that like a part of RuneScape nostalgia is leaving Lumbridge and not knowing what you're going to run into. You know, is it Varrock? Is it Draenor? None of us have that anymore. We know the map like the back of our hand. And Varlamore is going to be a place where it's not nostalgic in that you played it back in the day. It's nostalgic in that you're experiencing the same thing again.
Yeah.
I think Mod West touched on it a little bit in the video there, but it really does feel like this kind of sunny paradise. It's really nice there. And I found when testing, just teleporting back to Varrock, it feels a bit depressing. It's like going
The dog.
It's like going to Slough, you know.
There's like the flea-covered dog, and then you go to Varlamore and this like fluffy thing. The dog.
Oh no, I ended up at Scunthorpe.
We'll see if players feel the same way after they've been obliterated inside the Coliseum for a few days, because they may end up thinking it's just as depressing as Varrock then. So
Varrock doesn't have a Coliseum to get annihilated in.
really want it's the
Just as a fucking museum.
had come out since we changed that whole
Can't get limber than that.
keeping that little element of mystery behind it. Obviously players know the main pieces of content coming out, but there is a whole landmass to explore. Cool and
I hope there's a decent amount of quests on launch, honestly. I mean, I don't, because I don't want to have to do more to maintain my quest cape that I just got. But
we had a couple of questions coming through the chat.
it'll feel a bit empty if there isn't enough stuff between the key pieces of content to make you explore that landmass.
In terms of the Coliseum, players are wondering whether it's going to be co-op or solo content.
Purely solo. There's currently no plans for multiplayer.
Interesting.
No boosting here.
No boosting, unfortunately. Well, there you go. There you have it. And then the last one from the chat is, what kind of gear do you expect players will need to be able to fully complete the Coliseum? Are we talking like endgame BIS gear, or going to be okay if you're a mid-level?
I think a mid-level setup will get you a few waves in, but like if you're pushing for the boss, I think you're going to need some endgame gear to really get there reliably.
I think we've seen people beat the Inferno in some ridiculous gear. No one ever thought they were going to see someone in Mystics complete it, but people have. So, you know, we can sit here and go like, yeah, I mean, we had a playtest recently and everyone was in like max gear Torva and they were like just barely scraping by. But who knows what our players will achieve, because honestly, some of them are just cracked.
Just skill dependent, right?
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
All right, brilliant. Well, thank you both so much for joining us on the sofa. I hope everyone at home is excited for Varlamore Batch 1, which is
Be interesting to see
March.
if I will actually be able to do it all the way or not.
Biggest one that we put out.
Because I don't have max gear or levels.
The last minute. But I think it's time that we kicked off the giveaway. And our very first giveaway is going to be for some of the old school RuneScape LED lights from Creator Crafted. Let's take a look at these legendary lights because they are kick-ass indeed. 3 lucky winners will be going home with the Elysian Spirit Shield, the Twisted Bow, as well as a PK Skull LED. You can see that we have, thankfully and graciously modelled there by Mod Rice, the Elysian Spirit Shield. Just behind by the shoulder is the Twisted Bow, and you can see above Mac we've got the Demed Helm and the Teleport to Home spell as well, which you can grab from the website. But yeah, I think they're awesome. You can obviously see how well they come out on the stream here. And this is a really well-lit room as well. We have lights glaring into our faces. So imagine what it's going to look like in your bedroom when you sat there in the dark playing RuneScape all night, because let's face it, that's what we're all doing at the end of the day. Now, as I said, we'll be giving away...
At the end of the day? I do that all through the day, bro.
20 minutes or so. So to be sure to check out the hashtag giveaway channel in our official Discord and react to the giveaway bot in order to win. Now, if you want to check out the full range of the lights and mouse mats, use !Creator Crafted in the chat. That will send you a link over to the store. And as a celebration of the old school RuneScape Winter Summit, if you'd like to purchase them yourselves, if you simply use the link in the chat or enter Summit at checkout, you'll get a
I'd put my own ads over the top of this, but I don't have any. So...
Right, next reveal though, it's time to wake up, grab a brush and put on a little makeup because this one's going to bamboozle you all. Let's roll.
Ooh. Bamboozle. I like that word.
I'm Mod West, Senior Environment Artist on Old School, and I'd like to talk about our art and engine technology. Old School's visuals are charming, timeless, nostalgic, and through multiple community-made mods, also very customizable. For some time now, we have been working on ways to update our technology to provide improvements to the overall visual quality of our game and add more options for our players. Today, we are ready to talk about it. We are thrilled to announce a major overhaul to our rendering technology with the introduction of the latest version of RuneTech. This is a brand new renderer that is going to allow us to push Old School's visuals and performance to new levels of quality and provide modern quality of life improvements that our players have come to expect. So, what will this look like?
Why would I do that?
Current renderer with RuneTech. Once released, Players can choose from 2 graphics options inside the settings menu. The first of these modes is SD. This mode runs RuneTech with custom emulation features, allowing us to run the game to the original 2007 look with pixel-perfect accuracy, while taking full advantage of RuneTech's modern rendering improvements. For those who want a truly traditional feel, this is the mode for you. Unchanged, forever 2007. For those players who want to take the visuals further, we have our new HD mode.
See, I use 117.
Tools and maps, but adds multiple new rendering features.
That looks like 117.
Let's take a deeper look at our current in-client progress and show how some of these new features work. RuneTech's renderer allows for fully dynamic lighting of the game world, including dynamic sunlight and control over indirect.
The problem with a lot of this stuff is it just
control over all these
fucks your
We've also introduced volumetric
system. Like, if it's too slow, then no one's going to use it.
Fog is also supported through a feature called light scattering. This system creates believable fog falloff that interacts with the scene geometry, sunlight, and volumetric lighting to create a consistent and grounded feel to the game world.
Like, I can't use shadows and shit like that, because if I'm recording, it'll just lag all over the place.
Lighting solutions and screen space ambient occlusion, we can create compelling lighting settings that elevate the old school experience.
Graphics programming is generally very expensive on
Examples of these systems in action.
the system. Really, is all just dependent on how it runs. Otherwise, you're just going to be using the default. Or 117 still. If it runs better than 117, I'll use it. 100%. That looks good. Way too many shadows as well, though.
Currently out, but that's not all. We are actively implementing even more amazing RuneTech features. These include RuneTech's brand new water system that will include optional real-time...
Am I recording on a toaster? Can you not hear me right or something?
Our plan is to have this complete and rolled out prior to sailing. We have also been researching skydome systems, allowing us to add clouds and additional atmospheric effects to the skies. This will allow us
I'm good, right?
to craft bespoke lighting settings.
I'm not recording on a toaster.
And finally,
I got what you're saying.
point lights and
I'm not recording on a toaster. I'm just,
glowing fires,
like,
magic, and
you know, when you're recording and
in this example, we have attached a
you have 2 monitors and a HD camera and OBS running,
will be available on all platforms,
all sorts of things.
and mobile devices, and players can switch between each graphics mode at any time.
No one cares about mobile, bro.
Stick to the pure old school style and feel while building a strong foundation for the future. This is not all. It opens up exciting possibilities for future engine updates and plugin support, giving more control to the players.
This stuff doesn't mean a lot to me.
We are hoping to have a playable alpha in your hands very soon, followed by an always-on beta once we are comfortable with its performance. We are thrilled to share this news with you today, and you will hear from us again soon.
It already exists, so it's not like exciting, because it already exists in real life.
Look at old school RuneScape in HD. Oh my god, I was waiting so much for this moment. It's been a long time coming. I know we spoke about it many times.
Maybe other people are more excited about this, I don't know. I just use 117, so
We're joined by the absolutely fantastic mod
I've
suite.
been playing RuneScape in HD for
How are you doing?
the majority of the time I've been playing it since I came back.
I'm feeling pretty good, Meow. Yeah. You could say it's going well. How about you, West? How are you?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. Really
Good.
excited to talk about some HD.
Let's talk about HD then, shall we, Kieran?
Alright, shall we get into some questions?
Let's go.
So,
Let's do it.
alright, just to clarify, players were unsure. How is this HD mode going to work in terms of like what client is it available on and so on?
This is just on official clients, but not the old legacy one. So essentially, any C++ one, so the Steam client, the one on the launcher, and also mobile too.
Well, I was just going to ask, does that mean that it's available on mobile?
Does mean that, yes. So at the end, you'll see Mod West. He was playing.
Maybe it's big for mobile. I don't know. I don't know how anyone could play RuneScape
Like all the other C++.
without Quest Helper. So, like, not using
Other game
yeah, you know, using mobile just is an alien concept to me. Like, you're not gonna be able to. You don't have F keys. You don't have Quest Helper.
Get rid of any other client. Players can still play using clients. Let's be honest, I'm probably going to be using RuneLite more often than not because it has plugins and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But they can't use these features because it's related to the client upgrades we've made on our own client. It's our
Oh,
own
okay.
So it's not like we're withholding it. It's just not available to them. So Players who want to use RuneLite and play with 117, carry on doing that. Players
Yeah,
who
I'll
wanna play using
be doing that.
Carry on doing that. So like, a little bit off topic, right? So we were thinking,
So you can't use it with RuneLite, folks.
and saying, well, who's this for? Because we're all using desktop, we all play using RuneLite anyway. Hey, I don't even use HD, I use low detail. I use low detail personally. But the summit is about a transparent look at what we're working on. So it's the right time to announce it. I mean, you mentioned we spoke about HD before, years ago. First came up with the 117 stuff, and we kind of butchered that whole situation, and we kind of waited and we're biding our time to have something concrete to show. And that's is actual real footage. So we're getting closer and closer.
Not being able to do it in RuneLite is just like a non-update.
Stuff a little bit later, but talk more about HD itself. Why will HD release as a beta and not a full?
So the reason we're going with the beta is we want to make sure we want to get the get some feedback. We want to make sure we get all the base features down first, get some base lighting down, and then we want to iterate over that, make sure that the players can give some feedback on that before we start adding any additional features for that. I mean, we've just got some great features.
No, it makes sense. I think we've seen in the past what happens if we try and do too many things too quickly. So
I mean, it's a very old renderer, with that's being replaced. So we want to make sure that we get the we do it slowly, make sure we don't change too much at once.
Players have played this game a long time, right? They really care about the look of it, so it makes sense to make sure we get their buy and their feedback as we go as well.
Yeah.
One thing that might concern players as well is like, is this going to make updates take longer, right? Is graphics time going to have to go up and all this sort of thing? So do you think HD will increase dev time?
It's an understandable concern, because obviously it will increase a little bit, but it's going to be marginal in the grand scheme of things. Adding that sort of finishing lighting pass. I mean, we went back and looked at like some older projects like TOA, Desert Treasure 2, maybe like a 2-3% increase in like how long it would take to sort of do those passes. So ultimately, it's not going to be noticeable. We're very keen to make sure that development doesn't slow down because of this upgrade.
Yeah, that's good.
I think that was one thing that's constantly been emphasised internally, especially, is that it's about adding extra features and tools to aid what you're doing rather than make you having to do something new, right?
Yeah.
We know players wouldn't want this if it meant they get less stuff otherwise.
Yeah.
So we're able to balance that up.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways it's going to increase the speed of some of the ways we...
Yeah, what's up everyone? I know I'm being a bit quiet at the moment, it's because the HD stuff is just like, fuck all, but feel free to say hello if you're in the chat.
Currently we've got like problems with like the back shading on characters. Things always turn out quite dark. With this new renderer, with RuneTech, we won't have that issue anymore, so we can even make some improvements to our sort of current workflow.
Wow.
RuneTech.
Does that mean then, for example, I'm thinking back to instances where we've shown off concept art of items that they would appear as if they were in-game, but when they are in-game, they're actually darker, and players like, that's not the colour that we thought it was going to be.
Exactly.
They'll now see the colour that they saw originally.
We'll have way more control, and it'll just be better for everything.
That would be really helpful. So what is the plan then for releasing additional features, like we saw the water and the point lights as well?
Yeah, so we're going to start with just going through like with the beta, getting like the core features in.
Lighting is just so expensive on the GPU. You gotta be real careful if you're adding multiple lights and shadows into a scene. It's very, very expensive on a GPU.
Lights look a lot nicer. That's going to be a big one. So many additional things, and even beyond that.
Like, I know you were trolling me about the shadows, Harley, but
really excited for what this opens up for us.
Definitely sounds exciting. I'm very excited to be able to actually start playing with it. And
someone who's like done a lot of game programming, I have a degree in it.
It's very different from both of those.
Lighting and GPU based things are often the most taxing on a machine.
I think we're taking the tech a bit further. I think that was great for like 2008, 2009, but I think just rendering technology has just come so much further since then, and we really want to like lean into that. And I think this renderer really does a great job of that.
I mean, it still feels like old school, for sure. But let's say I'm more conservative, right? I hate change. Imagine I just can't stand everything. I want everything to be like it always was when I was a kid. So will the core experience of old school ultimately change as a result of this?
Well, we don't want to make any changes to like the current content. We want it to be, it's literally going to be a toggle. If you want HD on, you can turn it on. If you don't have to. We don't want to make it so the content will be affected by this. And even with SD as well, we want it's going to be using a new renderer, so it'll be more optimized than how we used to render it with the current older tech. And it will mean just that will be more efficient. It'll run better. So you know, if you are wanting that old look, you know, more smoother experience.
She's basically just confirmed what I've been saying about it's going to run slow.
Areas in game that can take more resources in order to be able to process. I think Fossilana is one that comes to mind, especially in the swamp area. Will they have the same issues or potentially even be worse if we're going into something like HD?
So from the tests we've done so far, the optimization of this, it's much better already. I think we can push it even further and make it even faster. But yeah, some of those core areas that, you know, Fossil Island, you know, just this new technology is just much better at sort of just processing the graphics, so it's just going to be way smoother.
Okay, so it could actually improve it with better graphics and run smoother.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Double win.
If that's true, it's good.
Right, we've listed some of the features there, so that the water, point lights, and so on. Are there going to be more features that come?
I'm going to run to the bathroom while they're wrapping up HD, because I'm guessing they're going to do something interesting next, and as though they did something uninteresting this time.
Cooler, add more graphics features in the future. The idea is to really open this up for players as well, so they can have to get their hands on it if they want to add customization to it as well. Yeah, that's all on the table.
Brilliant.
Awesome. So how do we plan on getting feedback then from players after, well, for those who are going to be playing on HD, and how will that potentially impact any changes we want to make?
Well, I mean, this is probably your forte, really, but since you're asking the question, I'll answer for you.
Yeah, well, I'm the host now, so...
So, the community team, just like yourself, the artists, the dev stuff, they'll be scouring all over socials, they'll be looking at the reaction in the chat and stuff too. But we'll also be looking to target players who have actually engaged in the beta with surveys. We'll be able to find them, play a list, maybe send them some stuff using in-game messaging or emails, that type of thing too. So we'll reach out and kind of cast as wide net as possible to try and get as much feedback as possible.
Awesome, thank you. I'll expect the full formalised plan sent over to me in the next week or so. Then. That will be really helpful. Thank you.
Before we do move on, there was a mention about maybe some plugin API.
Still talking about
More
graphics.
about what that is.
Yes, right at the very end of the video, Mod West mentioned like the prospecting stuff enables.
For anyone who cares, got my archers ring the other day.
Exploring, working on.
Green logged at DK's now outside of the pets, so probably never going back there then again.
It means like we'll be able to surface additional information that people can't get on Runelight.
But I'm all imbued as well, because I've been AFK in Nightmare Zone like a motherfucker.
We're hoping to be able to feed info directly.
10 people watching?
It's really exciting. I think this is.
Big up your bad holes.
I've seen the chat, right? I'm out of the corner of my eye.
Hopefully they start talking about something
Sweet. Who could have guessed that?
more interesting
It's
next.
like when people start reading the blogs on content, and it's like,
Yeah,
oh, if
yeah.
only they'd address this, and then it gets addressed right afterwards.
Pickle pickles they are,
Yeah.
but anyway. So that's it.
You dropped a bazinga there, I think, mate.
There you go. But
Okay.
Look, I mentioned earlier, people are saying, why would I use this? I'm using RuneLight plugin.
Yeah.
Like everything else support. We're early on the process, it's a long way away, but it is our ambition to do this.
Yeah.
We're really excited about it. We're beginning exploration of it.
I think it's like
I'm glad you're wasting time on it.
like the players that just maybe don't think that we know what they want, but we all play the same way as well. We know exactly what you want because we want it too. So yeah, absolutely, really exciting to hear that.
Even about getting stuff on mobile, like
yep.
You know, I might be playing on 117scape on desktop, and I jump to mobile, and it looks like the old render, the viewing distance is not as good as I want it to be, and all this sort of stuff. If you play on mobile at any point in time,
Does anybody here in the chat use mobile?
Plugins on mobile, what a world that would be.
Yeah.
Oh god. Yeah. I'm gonna be in
and this is
trouble.
it. So
I've literally never downloaded it on any device.
and some have made it to mobile.
I
some
just can't
have
imagine
progressed
it.
to Mobile, the UI changes and stuff, still work in progress as well. But we can't make these plugins as fast as players do. So let's give them the tools to be able to do it, and we want to work with them. So a few months ago, we started some NDA processes, like calls with plugin creators and developers. They gave us some really early feedback, and I think from next week onwards, we're hoping that
Cheesy, man. Cheesy.
in their hands, so they can tell us how to go about building this plugin hub. Because who better to listen to than the people who've been doing it for years already?
I should be AFK right now, right?
It leads really well into this next question of like, how exactly do we expect that to work? You know, because it is very much driven by the community currently through Plugin Hub.
We've got ideas, but we want to validate them with these developers and creators first before we start publishing them. Because we've got.
I don't know what to AFK though.
That might not be the best thing to do, the way we want to go for it, the normal development process we do for game content and normal releases as well. So let's put the documentation in the hands of these creators, these players, and they can kind of tell us, like, I think it's too soon for us to be dictating how we should distribute plugins or how people should give feedback or install or uninstall. Let's let the players tell us how they think it should work.
You should hire RuneLite. That's all you need to do.
You talk about working with a small little group of like developers.
Get them to make you their client, but official.
When can they expect to get their hands on anything like this?
I don't know. We have an idea, but again, I think it's too soon to say. Let's see how these close.
This is the second thing out of like 7, and we're almost an hour in.
And properly try again.
And they said it was going to be 2 hours.
In which case, maybe we can start conversations more publicly a bit sooner than we.
I feel like they spent a long time on this.
I think generally, I mean, we just announced the release date for Varlamore Part 1, March 20th, if you didn't see that already. I think we've gotten better at announcing stuff, or knowing when to announce and when to keep stuff secret. Like, think back to early August or winter 2017.
So they're basically telling us they don't know yet.
Bad at it. But now we wait until we're ready to talk about it, and then we kind of continue with like a good cadence of it all.
Sure. I mean, overall, it sounds extremely exciting. I know that chat, you went through a little bit of a roller coaster of emotions. We're seeing you go up and down, but just to recap, that HD is potentially coming. You've seen some footage of it. We had to check out a blog which gives you all the details about HD and everything.
Oh, did they actually give a date there? I missed it.
Optional. You can choose between standard detail, high detail.
No, I can get the game up. I just don't know what to AFK right now. Like, I can't be asked to go set up a Nightmares run.
And we are looking at developing our own plugin hub, which will be in collaboration with plugin creators and community members themselves.
Okay, that's interesting. But that's something they spent 3 seconds on out of a 20-minute conversation. Sorry, I've been negging this, y'all.
Some people don't care about graphics, some people do care about graphics, and I think this is a great time for us to start being able to explore expanding the player base as well.
And I'd encourage players. It's an odd one, this kind of announcement, this reveal.
Yeah.
Because it's not game content playable. It's not a Coliseum where you can jump in and it's like instantly gratifying. This is more about, hey everyone, think of what could be possible. Come on the journey with us. Help us build the plugin hub. Help us build amazing plugins. Help us give feedback on HD. Don't use HD if you don't want to use HD. That kind of thing. Like it's more about the potential of it all.
It needs Quest Helper.
Yeah.
That's the #1 plugin.
We've made a lot of progress already, right? To be able to show you all those.
It is, right? They're honestly like just stretching out nothing right now. I don't get it. They've got so much other things to talk about.
Established, so I think we should.
Now they're doing a giveaway.
An announcement on those. We've got 3 of these OSRS LED lights from Createch Crafted. The Elysian Spirit Shield has been won by Shanning.
Let's go. I was going to clap, but I realised I'm holding the iPad and I can't like break the screen. I just put it down.
Is that what they're doing? Are they playing on mobile right now?
Bow LED light.
Is that what they're doing? They're testing out the new HD client. That's why they're just talking nonsense for so long.
Let's go.
The lady.
Heck yes.
A member of our team will be in touch with you on Discord with details on how to redeem your prize.
Congratulations to the winners, and I think we may as well just get straight into our next giveaway. Kieran, there is just something right next to you there. Do you want to maybe bring the box across? Yeah, as you gently...
I don't actually know much about this, but I'm a huge board game fan. Like I said, I've designed plenty of board game and card games myself. I actually thought about designing a RuneScape game, but they already have one apparently.
Kickstarter for the RuneScape Kingdoms board game back in 2022, then you now have a chance to get your hands on a copy of the game, because we're going to be giving away another 3 of these items to some lucky winners over the next 20 minutes. Kieran is now gracefully modelling all of the components from within.
I don't know how good the actual game is though.
We went through this.
That'd
seriously high quality. I was genuinely impressed.
make or break it for me, because like I'm an actual board game fan. Like, I play a lot of board games, so if the gameplay itself is not good, then
Because that looks insane. Like they are so incredibly detailed. There's even a mage that's wearing like an ancient staff. It is so freaking cool to see.
good minis is good.
Quality. I'm shilling it like massively.
But the gameplay has to be good too. If it is, I might get it.
Yeah, the Jad is one spiky boy. I don't talk too much. I've still got to go through the rest of what this means. You just model. I'm talking. So, do you want a quest, skill, meet memorable NPCs, slay mighty monsters, and craft awesome gear on the tabletop? Sween's saying yes. Well, then this is for you. There are hundreds of cards, many with unique illustrations, and on top of that, each of the 5 different 3D player pieces can be leveled up during the game, getting their very own cape and equipment upgrades.
I feel like if I designed a RuneScape board game, it would be much simpler than this.
KBD expansion and the starter edition of a separate tabletop RPG will hit retailers.
I would have it as
now, so bark your diaries.
the gauntlet,
Pre-ordered in most
basically,
from Steam Forge.
where there's like different rooms
Exclusive expansions.
that you can go into. You can go do some fishing, or go do some mining, or make some weapons or whatever, and then either end it with a co-op boss fight or a PvP fight, depending on what the players decide at the start of the game.
The message that the bot would have posted, and in around about 10-15 minutes, we will be announcing the winner for, well, the winners, in fact, for those giveaways.
And I have a limited amount of turns on it, so it's just turn for turn. You go to a room, do a thing,
Reveal.
but you've only got a limited amount of time to do it.
Because if you miss this,
And when time runs out, that's when the battle fight starts.
thankfully said and allowed me to be able to say it on the stream for the rest of the stream. I'm going to grab myself a bottle of water, so you guys enjoy the video. You're going to go through all some wonderful UGC that the players have made. Make sure you're here straight afterwards though, because we're going straight into our next big reveal, and it is not one.
Wait, they're doing a break?
New content that you've not seen before. Get hyped, and we'll see you soon.
My goodness, folks. Oh, Scuras was part of the roadmap, okay. But the graphic stuff wasn't. The graphic stuff wasn't even on the roadmap, y'all. They just spent like 20-30 minutes talking about it, and it wasn't even on the fucking roadmap. And now we're doing a 15-minute break, holy shit. Alright, well. I can't give y'all nothing, can I? Oh my gosh, this is what I was doing. This is literally what I was doing last. This is awful. I'm gonna go set up a nightmare zone while we're on this AFK shit. They're making me AFK right now. Fuck. How about we just hop back over to this screen for a second. What do you think they're going to give us next? They just said there was some new content that nobody's seen before, though. That could be cool. Depends what it is, really, but... Yeah, John, I keep meaning to download it, or get it, or whatever. I'm aware of it, because I didn't have a pin in leagues, and I'd started content creation, and then, like, was doing a lot of leagues. It was, like, never an issue for the first few months of content creating, and I just haven't gotten around to downloading that plugin yet, but I do mean to, but... Cheers for, shouting that one out, anyway. So if you've never done Nightmare Zone AFKs, it's pretty simple. You want a bunch of absorption potions. If you don't have any, just, I don't know, do a normal rumble or something, get some. You give my man some money over here. And then you go pick up your absorption potions. You want 1,000,000 of them. And then you go in. Put these bosses on: Trap Soul, Count Drainer, Sand Snake, King Roll, the Kendall, me, Tree Spirit, and Khazad Warlord. You can take some off. You need at least 5 though. The more you put on, the better the point multiplier is. We're now into the middle. Pot up. start absorptioning and rock caking. Nah, I don't use overloads, because when they reset, they make you, like, your health goes back up. I like to keep my health around 1 HP. I have my quick press set up to rapid heal, so whenever this gets close, you just flick it, and then it resets. If you miss it, you just go slow rock cake instead. And, like, this XP is just... It's like 70k an hour passive, maybe 65. It's not too bad. So yeah, I've been doing this a fair bit in the past few days, just because I've been editing various things, like the quest kit video and whatnot. How are we doing on that timer? Still 10 minutes to go, apparently. Yeah, proper AFK. But like, the thing is as well, I do the flick like every minute or whatever. But... like, how else are you doing this? How are you doing this that's... why would you do any less AFK than this? You know? Sometimes I miss it and I'm at like 5 HP by the time I come back and I'm like, oh shit, I need to eat this a couple times, but... it's whatever. The reason this works, for anyone who doesn't know... everyone probably knows this at some point, but just in the off chance that someone's watching this and they are not familiar with Nightmare Zone, like... the absorption potions prevent damage dealt to you, and while you're on 1 HP, you can only take 1 damage at a time, so just keeping yourself on 1 HP by flicking this rapid heal on and off and eating rock cakes. You get like 1,000 hits worth, like individual attacks worth of protection, effectively. And yeah. Your character will continue to auto-retaliate for 20 minutes, at which point you have to click to do something, but if you're rock caking or whatever in the meantime, that'll stop you from running out of that timer either. Overloads, just playing over a count of AFK against the timer. Oh, that's fair. It depends what you're doing. Like, sometimes I will just come here, like... leave it while I go for a smoke, and then go eat, and then come back, and I'm like, oh, I died. Oh well, I got some XP. Like, I super AFK it. Oh look, I missed one. Oh well. I can never figure out whether, like, when I'm just doing training, obby's better. But I keep thinking that the dragon plate legs might just be better for taking out on, like, I don't know, if I'm going to do cow fight queen or something. I'm probably wearing Barrow's gear though, aren't I, at that stage. I should put the stream up so y'all can see the timer still. Lots of people hanging out though now. Feel free to say hello. Always nice to talk to people. Especially while there's fuck all going on from Jagex. I think the next league, it'd be really cool, especially if it's all out by then. If it's like Trailblazer again, AFK agility. Let me think. If it's, I'll just finish this thought. If it's like Trailblazer again, yeah, where you're area locked, but everybody starts in Varlamore rather than Lumbridge, it'd be so cool, man. That'd be so cool. I would absolutely love that. Runelight, why are you so weird? Because, like, imagine the amount of people that just won't have actually been there since it got released. They just spawn in the middle of Varlamore, like, what the fuck do I do? And maybe even, like, do something, like, Lumbridge and Drainer is just out of bounds. Like, Mistling is unlock. You can't unlock Mistling. That'd be crazy. You can change your respawn location, John. There's numerous different respawn locations you can select outside of Lumbridge. You can, mine's at Prifdinus, perfect, personally. There's Prif, Edgeville, Ferox, Falador, Camelot? I don't know if there's any others. I know the one at Camelot, you talk to Merlin, I think, at Camelot Castle to get it changed to there. Can't remember how you do the Prifdinus one. If you search up OSRS respawns, you'll find it. You can change your respawn point. 100%. 100%. Yeah, I have mine in Prif, so that if I accidentally die while I'm doing Zalcano, I'm just there. And because Lumbridge is depressed. Some of them have different requirements behind them, like the Edgeville one, I think you have to pay a mil or something to get it. The Camelot one might need a quest, like Merlin's Crystal or something, but... yeah, for sure would recommend it. I think they're all places that have, like, a Death's Office relatively nearby as well. I'm not sure about the Falador one. Maybe there is one in Falador. The Mole Pit is basically Death's Office, am I right? Fuck that guy. I've nothing against the giant mole, actually. I don't even know if I ever killed it. I think I tried to kill it once. Maybe I did kill it once on an old account. Oh, we've only got 2 minutes left now. Any predictions what my first 99 will be? I ain't got a clue. It's gonna be a while yet still. I reckon it'll probably be hit points. It's just logical, innit? But maybe it'll be something like magic. If it is magic, that's not bad, because the spellbook's real nice. Spellbook swap. I got really used to that in leagues with the magic kit, spellbook swap. Tell you what, it feels good having this thing empty now. I did a Tears of Guthix earlier today. Fucking hell. Spent an hour in that joint. Guthix done cried me a river. Alright, shall I see if I can still show myself on the other screen? I don't know if that's relevant to have on, but there it is.
Varlamore Part 2, Take 1.
Here we go.
Hello, I'm Gentle Tractor. I am a member of the Old School RuneScape community. So as part of my visit here to Jagex and the Old School team today, I've been asked to reveal some of the details about Varlamore Part 2 and what kinds of things you might be able to expect. I first started playing Old School RuneScape as it came out back in 2013. Prior to that, I played the original RuneScape back in the early 2000s, 2002, 2003. As the years went on, seeing the way Old School developed, it really captured my attention a lot more, especially because of the community-driven nature of how all the content was being designed and developed. I think that's what really spurred me on to want to kind of get a bit involved myself. I've shared and contributed a number of different things over the years, design ideas, bits of feedback here and there. So Varlamore as a region in Old School RuneScape dates back shortly after the release of Great Kurend and what was once kind of called Zaya in that continent. I created and shared a map that was showing a hypothetical reimagining of what the area could kind of look like with some different tweaks and improvements. It was like, what if there was this other hypothetical kingdom, the Kingdom of Varlamore? From that point onwards, it sort of inadvertently became sort of accepted and a part of the game's canon, and then was subtly and slowly referenced.
I didn't know any of this. It's pretty cool.
In just this past year or so.
For whoever this guy is. It's cool for him. For sure.
Basically to ask and see if I wanted to contribute to fleshing out a more complete...
To be honest, it's awesome of the Old School team to get him involved with it.
Like my very
To see a fan doing something and be like, yeah, this works. We'll get him.
Of that. I'll give a special shout out to another community member by the name of Zigzagzagle, who did a fantastic Varlamore interpretation of their own. That was kind of like an iteration on my original one.
Big up this guy for shouting out other people as well.
Extremely heavily
I don't know who this guy is, but I like him already.
And been molded and sculpted by so many different hands that have gone into working on it. The first thing coming in Varlamore Batch 2 will be the island of Alderin.
Interesting.
Contains a couple of different things, including a very interesting and old school RuneScape feeling quest that involves a murder mystery, as well as some new content, such as a herblore activity that takes advantage of some of the local and unique features in the area.
Does that mean we get a new herblore training method?
As well as providing new content for level 70+. The second thing coming with Varlamore...
New training methods are not bad.
Mountains. On top of these mountains,
Other than making potions.
There's some new group boss that you can battle it out with you and some friends. It's been really interesting and exciting getting a chance to visit the Jagex offices today.
There aren't many group bosses either.
Behind the scenes.
Like true group bosses.
It's both fascinating and surreal seeing it actually come to life and physically being able to walk around a place that I've kind of helped envision and see, and seeing that go full circle as a long journey has been a really, really cool one. And I want to send a big expression of thanks and gratitude to everyone on the Old School team and here at Jagex today for making the trip that I've had a wonderful experience. Players should be excited for Varlamore Part 2 because there's some really interesting new pieces of content, especially in skills that have been perhaps a bit traditionally underutilized, like herblore. I think that has a lot of very interesting creative potential there, as well as the idea of having another, maybe more traditional style group boss, but with a lot of the interesting complexity of mechanics.
Like KBD, but more modern.
The combination of those two is going to be really, really compelling to a lot of players.
welcome back everyone. I hope you have enjoyed looking at the first sneak peek of what's to come with Varlamore Batch 2. A hugely community-driven update. Absolutely amazing to have had Gentle Tractor in the offices to join us. The whole team
that was cool.
To be able to work closely
All that
with
stuff.
him as well as the rest of the community members. It just goes to show that we really do like to do things the old school way here. Now I'm really excited to learn more about what's to come with Varlamore Batch 2. We obviously covered the Island of Alder in there, which is going to include some new herblore activities, new rewards for 70 plus herblore. There'll be a lot more information about
New herblore's good, but give us something for crafting, honestly.
if that's okay for
It's the worst skill to train.
Also, the Hailstorm Mountains bringing in a new group boss. We are joined by the wonderful Mod Other. Thank you so much for being here. How are you?
Oh, it's wonderful to be here. I'm doing well, thank you.
Awesome, I'm glad to hear it. Well, as I said, I'm really excited to learn Varlamore about Varlamore Batch 2. What was the most fun you had working on the project so far?
Everything until that pun.
Yeah, that was the correct answer. I was literally about to say that thing.
Yeah.
Shout out Mod Other.
Yeah, I think the most fun so far, like looking at Varlamore as a whole, and especially sort of Batch 2 stuff, like it's been establishing all of these sort of lore connections. Yeah, I spoke a bit about lore.
Yeah, Holly, that's how I did most of it.
Diary, and
It's fucking awful. Like, that's not a fun way to train a skill. Neither is making potions.
everything feels like it makes sense, and you're not encountering something that's like shallow. And the
I don't suppose they're as bad, John, if you're not playing on an Iron Man. I look at Iron Man as the ideal way of playing the game.
there's a lot of
That'd be cool.
like, it's really fun to make the lore for it, and it helps us.
A hunter minigame boss?
We look at something like the island of Aldarin, and we're looking at that sort of Mediterranean style. Like, we're going to have fancy villas and vineyards, and we're going to have.
We don't need more vineyards. First one was shit.
The murder mystery quest. Like, there's real richness to everything we're looking to bring with Batch 2, and that's just that has me excited, you know.
Awesome. I'm excited just by your excitement from that alone. So
It's a passion, right?
Yeah.
Passion. It's a
Oh,
passion
yeah.
in the whole team and yourself. It's incredible. Players haven't even had their batch.
their batch of cookies. Master Baker over here.
Their hands on batch 1 yet. Coming March 20th, by the way, as revealed earlier. How is this going to differ to batch 1?
Well, I'm sort of already.
It looks smaller.
Mediterranean environment we're looking to sort of bring in here, and I think that's a really big one. We're already playing around with a new environment in Batch 1. We've got the savannah, and all of a sudden we're pivoting. You know, we're going from the sort of dry grass of the savannah to hopefully some real.
Like, not just the landmass itself, but there just seems to be less content in this batch. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because there's a lot in the first batch, and they don't want to take too much on. I'm not complaining about it.
Used for sort of marking out the play of the
But it does look like a lighter batch.
engaging way. So it's going to be really exciting to be climbing up those mountains to.
Unless there's more stuff that just haven't fully
Will there be penguins?
nailed down yet.
It's mayonnaise, an instrument.
There will be now.
I don't think we're going to put penguins on the mountain. There'll be a long way for them to then go and eat, you know.
No mountainous penguins. All right, never mind. I tried. I'm sorry, Robert.
Wait, no, the penguins are intelligent. They can get food.
There's going to be a new quest. Can you tell us a little bit more about what players should expect from that?
Yeah, so we're looking at a fairly sort of intermediate level quest. We're not bringing you a whole other sort of Desert Treasure 2 scope.
Good, because that was long as shit.
We're looking at something that's going to be fun. One of the main words that sort of came up in our early discussions was trophy for this quest, because it's a murder mystery,
Trophy.
you know? There's so many fantastic murder mystery sort of concepts that we can just directly rip off. You know, Agatha Christie, wonderful work. It's our turn now on that front.
Take inspiration from.
Sorry, yes. We should be taking a very polite and respectful inspiration from our murder mystery sort of.
Yeah, she did not throw us that well at all.
You know, we're looking a little into some interesting rewards as well. We're trying not to put out a quest where, you know, you can do it because you like quests, but we want people to feel like, hey, I've actually got something from engaging with this narrative. So yeah, that's what we're aiming at with that quest.
Bro, you using my chat as a star hunt?
One larger quest with that murder mystery, but I believe we're intending to continue the Varlamore storyline as a whole through Batch 2, and you know, tease it, Batch 3 is going to have more Varlamore storyline.
Yeah, we've said Batch 3 already now, so the kind of cat's out of the bag
Yeah.
with that one. So awesome. 2 quests to look forward to then, at least.
At least. Yeah.
Nice.
we also mentioned a herblore activity,
Ooh, yes.
which is something a bit new. What's the thought process?
Is it a way to train without needing to collect
Like, why have we chosen
farming herbs
in the first place?
So we've got a number of
or miscellaneous herbs
There's
or
lots of
slate
work in the
herbs?
dev team for some improvements to herblore. Fundamentally, you know, a lot of Varlamore has been passion projects, but also players want to see improvements to herblore, and we need to find a way to sort of make that user experience better without completely disrupting what players expect of herblore. I mean, the expectations are fairly low, I think, especially if you play an Iron Man account. You sort of end up buying, at this point, unfinished potions and secondaries and bank stand for a few hours, and that's herblore in a whole.
Yeah, you're playing an Iron Man, it
What
sucks.
we do is bring an activity where you don't feel like you have to do it. You know, you could do 1 to 99 herblore and never touch it. You've kind of experienced most of what herblore offers.
Yeah.
But we don't want it to feel that, like, this is how you have to do it. You know, this isn't going to be your sort of best XP for herblore training.
And the same way, that is how I feel about Superclass Make.
Improvements to herblore that you may access through this activity, basically.
Yeah, I think an interesting problem herblore has is, like, why do you train it? Like, Iron Man, obviously, it makes a lot of sense, right? You need to get the level. You can't make super combats until you get the level.
Yeah, tell me about it.
But
yeah,
for a main account, it's like, it doesn't matter what herblore level you've got, basically. You just go to the Grand Exchange and buy whatever potion you want.
I mean, and that's really the crux of the issue, isn't it? You know, Irons will get something out of leveling herblore almost all the way to 99. You know, Divine Super Combat's at 97, I believe. Whereas mains, as you say, you can just buy every potion, and we're not looking to be like, hey, you can only get this thing from this herblore activity.
I think they should design things more with Iron Men in mind, though, because that's
so that mains
the intended gameplay experience. Excuse me. In a weird way, Iron Man is the intended gameplay experience. You know? If there was no one else playing the game, that would be how he had to do it.
It's an interesting spot.
Deflection 99 and cash.
The main takeaway is that it is an interesting spot, right? Because
I don't even have a cash stack right now, it's awful. I'm broke as a bitch right now.
Almost feels like a task in itself, having to just level it for the sake of it, but now maybe you can level it for the sake of it, but have fun.
To be fair, I probably have a lot of, like, bank value, because I've got an imbued and a buffer,
With this
but...
activity as well, it's kind of, it gives you a reason to keep leveling the skill, because you're going to unlock
Oh,
something.
jeez. That worth a lot.
Because obviously we could target
No idea.
and be like, hey, you can actually make herblore progression through this. And to be fair, 70 is not very far. In
I don't understand the value of GP, because I'm an Iron Man. Like, GP's value means nothing to me in terms of what things are worth on the exchange.
For the most
I don't understand it.
I'm going to take something in from the...
I used to.
We're going to go a little bit...
Before I played Iron Man, but I don't know it now. It has no
People were talking like overload,
no numbers in the head.
relating back to being a combat skill in previous RuneScape eras and such. Is that anything that we're thinking of? I know it's very early and we talk about the rewards specifically with players, but what kind of like ideas do we have in mind, or can we maybe dispel that myth of...
I think that overloads have been... We've definitely discussed overloads as a design team, and for the most part, none of us have found the sort of spot where we think overloads fit. And there's also this idea of, like, you can look at these sort of complex crafting trees that exist in RS3 for sort of high tier potions, and I think we are hesitant to go down that kind of route and introduce potions where it's like, okay, at the moment we have super combats where you've got to make a few potions, stick them all together, that's kind of okay. But if you're doing that 4 times, combining all of those, then getting another ingredient and combining that, you just end up where the skill becomes this kind of chase for only these few specific things. And I would say we should dispel the idea that we're thinking, oh yeah, we'll bring overloads with this activity, because that's
I
not
don't know
really what we're
that means.
achieve here. And it may be that eventually we release content where we're like, actually this is perfect for overloads, and everyone's behind it, and we think, yeah, let's do it.
Unless it's the same as in Nightmares one.
Chat, so thank you for the answer, and apologies for putting you on the spot. Let's move away from herblore a little bit, because we also have the prospect of a new group boss. So again, I know that we're still
tell us about that.
early on in, well, I'd say development. We're in the green light stage. You have to let us know if you want us to start developing it. But it has been too long since we released an actual group boss. So what are you looking forward to the most in regards to working on that project?
Honestly, I'm really looking forward to having a boss that people are genuinely going to stumble over. Like, so many of our bosses are a bit of a trek. You've got to make the decision, I'm going to go and I'm going to fight this boss, and I'm going to gear up and I'm going to make that journey. And what we are looking at with this group boss is something that is either directly in the overworld, or almost that you could accidentally enter the area where it's in.
That's cool.
We want players to almost encounter it naturally
That's
and realize
cool.
that they want to take part in the fight that's going on.
That's what they should do more of that. Yeah. Roman bosses or
We've done a lot of humanoid bosses
Like-
lately, and we've got humanoid bosses coming up in the Coliseum.
like how Chaos Elemental sort of roams around the wilderness, but
What better place
in
to be on the top of a mountain, one of the
non-wilderness.
style environments we can imagine. Like,
Wait, giant penguin on the mountain.
He's nailed it.
We've got it.
It's done. Ship it.
oh, you're really going for that Cold War II, aren't you? Pitch it. You know,
Fairy Tale 3, anyone?
Put it in front of the Dragon's Den of design. You know.
Kieran, when it comes to consultation, me and you are going to create alt Reddit accounts. I'm already getting the background of the yellow text prepped.
Yeah.
We'll bring them in. All right, wonderful. Thank you. Is there anything else that you'd like chat or those watching at home to know about Varlamore Batch 2?
I think I just like chat to know that like we really have some strong ideas for this. I think it's really important to know that we have a clear vision right now, and whilst we still have green lighting and consultation, we are really hoping that once we present these ideas to everyone and poll them, people feel as strongly as we do and as passionately as we do about the content that we're looking to introduce.
Amazing. Fantastic words. Thank you so much, Modella, for joining us. We really hope that you're excited.
Alright, what's up next?
The blog for all the details, as well as seeing the green light questions, which will be ready for voting on at the end of the stream. But I think it's about time we set sails into the next VT.
Sales. Alright. Big new skill.
Hello and welcome to Old School RuneScape Sailing Developer Diary. I'm Gnome, and today I'm joined by some of your favorite J-mods to share new details about our first new skill.
Hey, I'm Mod Husky. You all know me. I don't actually look like this in real life, unfortunately.
I'm Mod Lenny. I'm a little newer to the sailing scene, but I've climbed on board to help lay the foundations for how boats work in the game.
I'm Mod Elena. No, not the one from Ardoin, thankfully.
Since this is a Winter Summit video, we won't be covering all things sailing today. If you need a reminder of what sailing is, check out my video that went out during the Summer Summit, and we'll meet you back here when you're ready to dive in.
With sailing, we're trying to strike the right balance where we can fit in as much content as possible without taking years and years to release it. After all, if we tried to stuff it full of every type of content it could possibly have, we'd probably still be designing it in 2030.
This is why they should have done it procedurally.
It's Old School RuneScape's first new skill ever, so it's important that we only release it when it's ready. But what does it mean to be ready? Many of our oldest skills are still being continuously updated to this day, and we expect sailing to evolve too. So while we do want to launch a fully realized skill, we will also be regularly updating it beyond launch.
Obviously.
Okay, let's take a look at our roadmap. As you can see, we've split the development process into 9 major milestones, which we're aiming to complete in order. We're currently on navigation, with the next stages focusing on primary gameplay, ship customization and crew system, ship combat, and then secondary gameplay.
Oh, those penguins just got massacred.
Work our way up to more advanced gameplay that links the entire skill together. Islands and points of interest are hugely important to sailing, so we've decided to tackle them separately, as they aren't dependent on the other milestones. This means that they can be designed and polled while other development work is ongoing.
Underlying tech is our top priority so that sailing always feels natural at its core. Since we're expecting you to spend so much time out at sea, navigation needs to feel seamless and smooth, and we're keen for you to get your hands on it as early as possible to make sure that we get it right. We've now developed the core infrastructure of the skill, allowing you to gain XP, level up, and view your level among your other stats. We've also looked at issues such as tying it into the maxcape, so you can quickly get back to work at earning your bragging rights back. You can also own boats of different types now, letting you build up your collection from small rowboats to much larger ships and galleons. Additionally, the team has successfully implemented the systems for boarding boats from a number of different ports and addressed what happens when you leave boats by different means. We've also tackled the multiplayer aspect of navigation, allowing you to board another...
They might need to sort out the size of that NPC though.
Other aspects like boat collision, logging out to the sea, ship speed and turning circles are still being worked out. We're currently exploring how we can make interactions work between boats and land to allow for docking or other exciting content later down the line, including combat.
We'd also like to highlight some of the work we've done on the ship infrastructure system. Most of you probably saw our tech demo earlier last year, but a lot of that was a quick and dirty proof of concept just to determine whether or not the tech would even work. There were a lot of quick hacks, debug script, and some very clear limitations that we had to work around. I'll make this one short and sweet, and a regularity for me. But players can now train sailing from 1 to 99! Woo! We did it! Skill is complete, let's ship it! Jokes aside, we've implemented the basics of core gameplay, and one of these aspects is trimming the sails. Every so often, while not at port, the player will have to trim their sails to ensure that the ship can move at full speed.
Trim.
We had some fun with this one, really exaggerating the speed difference, but we do expect it to be much more subtle for the finished product, but here it is in action anyway. Of course, this is far from being all that sailing has to offer, and of course will not be the only way to gain XP. But from a developer perspective, it's a good place to start. Since officially passing the poll, we've been able to get much more specific with our designs internally for sailing activities. And here are some of the questions that we've been discussing. What level do players unlock access to new activities? How does the gameplay change for these activities as you level up? What kind of facility upgrades can players choose from?
Yeah, I don't know, I voted for shamanism.
Activities? How do crewmates or other players impact the gameplay?
I voted for the shaman one. I think it was shamanism that they called it.
And why should the player care about it? We have all the answers to these and much more, but we're not ready to share these just yet.
You've told us nothing.
We will be asking for player feedback when we can, and that feedback will be crucial for helping us develop lots of fun, satisfying, and rewarding activities. We've also started to put together a rough outline of the player journey. Early game, from levels 1 to 50-ish, you will likely be focused around Port Sarim, start moving towards Catherby, and then Port Khazard. You'll then be able to work towards unlocking large ships, which will enable further access south of Port Khazard into the open seas. Mid-game, around 50 to 80, will focus on large ships and fleshing out your crew. There will be a real set
Samurais.
with access to new content and new secondary training methods, which will involve non-sailing skills.
I hope they like
Around levels 80.
blend this with Varlamore as well.
Finally look forward to colossal vessels and more complex gameplay. We want our endgame sailors to feel rewarded for their time, so expect a large number of meaningful unlocks at a regular...
They said there was going to be a sailing raid undersea, right?
Levels at this point feel much farther apart and tend to require a much greater time investment. Of course, the key to sailing is that awesome feeling of exploration, so we don't want to force every single player to experience the exact same way. However, the beats of this player journey will be a useful reference point for us during development, just to keep us all on the same page.
Betas are incredibly important to us, and we're expecting to offer at least 3 opportunities for you to get your hands on the content before launch, though we can't give specifics on when just yet. The first Tech Alpha will launch at the earliest opportunity and will focus on refining the navigation experience, ensuring you're all comfortable and engaged while traversing the sea.
I can't get over the tiny little crew member.
Ship customization, crew management, capsizing, and ship combat, offering a comprehensive preview of all 4 features.
I love how they put a solo mission in the water. What the fuck?
A second open beta is currently planned as a sailing demo, offering all of the above as well as new gameplay mechanics, secondary gameplay, and some islands and points of interest to explore. This beta will take place very close to launch and will heavily influence our launch date expectations. We're also not ruling out additional betas if needed. Let us know what you think.
I think you didn't really tell us very much.
Now, some sick news for the creatives in our community who want to contribute directly to the sailing skill.
The fuck?
We'll be running community contests this year.
Or did you just flick him out?
And the skill. For inspiration, here's the placeholder you'll be using during the
Okay.
game, made by the talented Gentle Tractor. And for any designers out there, we're offering you the chance to design your own island and potentially see it in the game. Look out for the player-designed island competition sometime this year.
I might have to check that out.
And that's a wrap
I like designing things.
Thanks so
I'm
much
shit at art, but I like designing things.
project.
I'm a creative person.
So stay tuned. On that note, if you voted no to the skill, check your inbox for a message from Mod Light, Community Manager on Sailing. We're asking you to fill out a 5-minute survey and help the team make meaningful changes to improve your experience with the skill. Increasing feedback representation from all player types will be incredibly important as development continues, so be sure to stay involved and make your voice heard.
Yeah, the only thing I took away from that entire VT was the little man in the boat. I'm just gonna grab a drink here. I'll be back in just a second.
First of all, there's a big text across the video there that said that the footage is not representative of actual gameplay. That was all put together by the wonderful community member Screet Munch. Thank you so much for helping us out with that. But a lot of the assets that are in there were used with plugins and the creator kit plugin. So yeah, they're not representative of what you'll actually see in the game. So don't worry. I know some of the ships look small, some of them look large, and all that kind of stuff. There aren't going to be rockets going on to the moon either. At least not yet. Maybe when we introduce space exploration as the next potential skill, who knows?
Space? What? What did I just come back to?
Clear that we're not going to be releasing announcing a release date for sailing just yet. What I can say though is that you'll be able to get your hands on the first technical alpha sometime in Q2. Now, to manage expectations, it's not going to be ready before April, but it does mean that you won't have a huge amount of time at least to wait around before you can start getting a hands on.
I'm not that excited about sailing, so...
We are taking this one seriously, as you heard.
Like, I'm excited to have a new skill.
Who have voted no to the skill.
I remember summoning.
For the skill.
I don't remember dungeoneering.
Working with the community all the way up until the very end, and then even post-release to make sure that sailing is...
But all I remember about summoning is that I had a little ghost wolf.
Excited to see what
That's like all I remember.
By working so closely with you. Kieran, could you maybe talk a little bit more about what the team have been up to so far? Obviously, this is a monumental task, introducing the first skill to the game, and one as big as sailing. Like, there's so much content on offer. We've talked about islands, we've talked about raids, we've talked about extra quests, new stories, and all that kind of stuff.
There's an awful lot to do, and there's an awful lot that's been done so far, and an awful lot still to do. I'll give a quick rundown. Some of it's talked about a little bit in the video of some of the things that we've been doing so far. So a lot of work on core infrastructure. So there's our sailing skill in the game that can be assigned XP. Oh, that's good, as you saw. 1/99, you can do it. Woo, we're done. All interfaces, like the skill interfaces, even the genie lamps interfaces, those have been done.
That's good.
The max kit functionality's already been updated, so prepare for that one. There's a skill guide and a level up system. So like, these are the beats that all the skills have this. Sailing needs to be a part of those too.
Yep.
Ship infrastructure. This is a massive, unique element of the sailing skill, right? You've never been able to go to the sea before. You've never been able to properly like own and navigate on your own ship. There's a lot of underlying.
I mean,
that needs to be
you basically have to pilot Murphy's joint for him.
Like Barracuda trials and other gameplay features. So you can actually generate ships. You can own you can even set them from like a collection of presets. You can board other people's ships as well, so you can join.
You design your own.
Pirate.
Give us your best yar.
I'll have to do it not on demand. Yeah, sorry.
It's a paid extra.
Yeah.
That guy must not have a good sex life.
The captain, they automatically have like navigator permissions.
If you got Yar on demand,
be a navigator and stuff.
he's got no hope when it comes to the little man in the boat. You know what I'm saying?
After technical, but a lot of things, simple things like trimming the sails have started to be implemented. That's already earning you sailing XP. Ships are now able to move at different speeds. I could keep going, right? There's an awful lot.
You could tell us things.
Is really starting to be fleshed out now in a much more thorough documentation, so that it's ready to get.
I mean, yeah, I do.
A good place. So,
but like,
a lot's happening. We've also been bulking out the team, so there's now.
I'm also like trying to
place.
cope from the lack of information that they're giving us in these VTs.
The points of interest, the islands, what you're going to find out at sea. But yeah, it's looking really good so far. Super
Yar! It is looking good.
Okay. It was a bit delayed, my friend.
Now, I think you kind of covered it.
I can't believe you spent all that time and that was what he came out with.
I'm sure many people at home are wondering why sailing's taking so long.
Yeah.
What could we share about like the development of the skill in terms of why it might seemingly be taking so long?
No, I get why it's taking a long time. Yeah. It is a big undertaking.
Ocean expansion, together with
out of the 3 skills
to sail, you need places to sail too.
This was the biggest one.
Existing land.
In terms of development time.
But a skill.
100%.
What skill you do? They're big updates. And it's really important, even more so with our first, that we get it right. It's not something that we want to rush and mess it up. We also want to make sure we're getting the right feedback loops in place, like we did in refinement. That'll be carrying on to make sure that just ultimately we produce something that old school deserves, that you all want to see and will enjoy when it releases. Even the people who voted no, we want to make a skill that is still as best as it can be for you as well. So it really is like we are going on a voyage together as a community.
That was smooth. Okay. So what's next for the team then? What are they going to be focused on next?
That's the technical alpha. That is obviously as you mentioned, Q2 is when we're looking to get that ready by, no sooner than April. And we've got a lot of work still to get to that stage, but that's the immediate priority if we're building to that.
Brilliant. Okay.
Exciting.
Well, if you want to get involved in the discussion, share your feedback, then keep an eye out for all of the blogs and information that we have regarding sailing. The one has just dropped now so that you can check out everything in regards to the new skill and what's been going on with a little bit more detail behind the scenes in terms of the actual development progress. There's a whole bunch of different GIFs and images that are shared within that blog too, which will actually show you what it looks like currently in-game to give you an idea of like just how much effort has to go into making this a possibility. But it really is shaping up to be absolutely incredible. Now, I think we should just remind you the fact that the very first giveaway for the board game is live. So remember to use !Discord in the chat for a link to the Old School RuneScape Discord channel.
Actually a cool giveaway.
If you are looking to get a hold of this wonderful board game that is sat next to Kieran and all of the miniatures that are involved, use !Steamforged for a link to their store, because we're going to be giving away a copy.
If anyone gets the board game.
5 minutes in the channel on the Old School RuneScape Discord until we announce the final giveaway.
Every 5 minutes?
Okay.
Damn.
Informed that it's already been given away, but you should join the Discord because we have another giveaway coming up just shortly after this, which will be for some of the wonderful plushes, which we'll go into. That was meant to be my way of segueing into the next VT, so I'm just going to use it as an opportunity to do that anyway. Roll the tape.
Is this about plushes?
When you order mod Ash from Wish.
Manx so handsome. Thank you. I thought these were meant to be bad.
It's going to be called apologies by the end when Jagex inevitably something up.
Deadman is a limited time game mode which has PvP everywhere, so everyone starts on a brand new account, XP rates are enhanced, you have to build your account for the finale where you want to survive as long as
To be fair, 3 spliffs
I've technically won a Deadman mode.
in almost 2 hours.
Deadman started in the early years of...
That's not that bad.
It's just an alternate way of playing the game.
You're wrong though, this is my 4th.
Final with Deadman Reborn, where we introduced the sigil system. Then we had Deadman Apocalypse, where I think it was actually one Manx who had the idea of, what if we just put a bunch of just bosses into the world at regular intervals?
Ah! I'm gonna die!
Discontinued man mode. Damn, he's right. We have to cancel the entire thing based on this one post. I'm leaving. Goodbye.
This was definitely the most fun demo to play in without being a top tier PK. I saw a lot of feedback saying
I didn't really play it.
Primarily PK had a great time. Saw a lot of the people that won had a great time because obviously they won money by...
I played it, like I logged into it.
Who liked suing...
I did my safe hours in Deadman mode. You know, you get like an hour's grace period at each bracket. I did my hours safety, and then my safety went away, and I was like, actually, this is scary. I'm gonna go stand at the Grand Exchange.
Really worthwhile. You get
And then I didn't log back into Deadman. That's how that went.
about to print billions and billions.
Deadman mode is literally always dead content after a week or two long. Concurrent play count says otherwise.
Deadman is actually quite friendly towards solo players. The prize winnings that you can actually get from Deadman, you don't solely need to be the last surviving player, and that typically revolves around being in a clan. You can participate, kill loads of bosses, do some skilling, and get points and potentially win. So you can be a solo player and still earn a great chunk of the prize pool available, as well as it potentially winning you.
Why doesn't Leagues have a prize pool?
So potentially give you the chance to get cosmetics in the main game, and then you also get a nice little trophy based on how many points you get to.
No Jads at Breaches. Jamflex Plus. I'm with you. You want to keep it tame for the first iteration of Breaches. Just make sure this is something you can actually do.
Now, multiple Jads.
Go crazier on the bosses this time around.
Multiple Jads.
Many.
If you can have a Grado, you can have a Jad.
Many Jads.
Building on the success of Deadman Apocalypse, we want to make Breaches a little bit more random, a little bit more...
This feels like it's coming soon.
So we want to make it a bit more chaotic, because we saw the feedback that there just wasn't enough chaos. There weren't enough monsters killing everyone, so we want to work on that and make sure we give the players and the viewers a great experience.
If you like running away from players screaming, which admittedly doesn't appeal to too many people, but you might enjoy it. If you like killing way too many bosses at the same time. If you like getting stupid powerful sigils, because we have those...
I like that, that's about it.
For you in Deadman.
I think players have come a long way since the last Deadman, and I know a lot of people always question, oh, should I play this Deadman, should I not? And they miss out and they see all the content creators having a great time, so I think a lot of people this time round are going to give it a go, and it's going to be a crazy one.
Oh, is that the next one? Retrospective?
Try it. I think they're announcing it. That's
some great insight into
the next Deadman.
Hopefully the next one isn't a Deadman apologies, as alluded to there.
It's retrospective.
We're now joined by Mank. Welcome, how are you doing?
Okay.
Doing wonderful. Very excited for this.
Good stuff. Well, before we get to some questions, I believe Modai is a bit miffed.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I don't want to make too much of a big deal about it, but I think Kirby was mistaken. I have a feeling that I was the one that suggested the monsters spawn havoc across Gillinor. Was it not Manked?
No, it was me.
You may have brought the vision to life, but I brought the vision to paper. No, you did a really incredible job, though. I'm so grateful to have had you join the team. You and Kirby absolutely smashed their last Deadman with Daizong as well. Really looking forward to what can come with the next Deadman, and so happy that we've been able to announce one so early on as well. So, absolutely over the moon with that.
I think you guys are going to have to duke it out over the...
I can't tell if they've just announced a new one or not.
No, it is.
I've also left my nightmares in way too long. I'm on 8 HP.
How happy were you with Deadman Apocalypse?
I think it went really well. The breaches were a nice addition. It completely changed up the meta, kind of gave people a reason every day to log in and engage with the content. We had trinkets as well and blighted weapons that, again, just very different to Deadman. So it was just a nice change of pace, something new for players to engage with. And yeah, it was really successful.
Awesome. So what kind of changes would you want to make with the next Deadman? I know we covered a few in the video, but are there any key ones you want to point out?
So I've got several pages worth of feedback from players, which is amazing, that we want to implement. Obviously, I think the finale was a little bit underwhelming, so we want to create a bit more chaos in that, make it a bit more exciting for the players and viewers.
Yeah, it didn't look that fun.
And just overall make it just as good as it can be. We've got a great foundation with Deadman Apocalypse, so hopefully the next Deadman will be even better.
Are we expecting sigils more, the same, better, stronger, weaker?
Rebalanced,
Yeah. Okay.
Great.
All right. Looking forward to it. It was honestly such a good addition with the Deadman Reborn. So glad we're carrying on with that too.
How about for someone who's not tried Deadman? There might be still some people out there who haven't given it a go. Why should they give it a go this time?
So Deadman is similar to Leagues, believe it or not. It's similar because it's enhanced XP rates, everything's different, the meta's completely different. So you can just play the game that you love in a completely different way. And yes, there are PKs running about, but you can just engage with so much content and it's so much fun.
If they don't kill you.
So last time the prizing, we did it very differently. You could basically PVM the entire time and you could earn prizes, cash prizes from doing that. So we mixed it up so it wasn't so clan orientated. And yeah, regular players that might work a 9 to 5 could still actually win Deadman.
Who knows, maybe in the next Deadman could be some main game cosmetics as well. That would be exciting. That'd definitely make me want to continue playing past the point where I die and lose everything. Okay, I'm going to ask the big question. When can we expect it? When's Deadman come in?
Summer 2024.
No way, it's going to be this year. Let's
I hope we get leagues in winter then.
Looking forward to working with everyone on Deadman. But
If we do, I'll be pumped because I had so much fun in leagues.
Areas within the game, we've done a huge amount that in the last year in regards
So
to
much fun.
Still more, but you know, between the Wilderness Boss rework, Bounty Hunter, obviously the long-awaited return of Deadman Apocalypse, we've still got things like the Pol 80 improvements, as well as improving what we've already got in-game as it is. But we do want to look at a little bit more this year in terms of PvP, don't we, Manx?
Oh, of course.
I've heard some rumours of the Chaos Temple being invaded by undead pirates. Do you want to maybe tell us a little bit about what that could be alluding to?
Yeah, so basically we want to introduce a new low-level hotspot into the wilderness. We think that currently all the activity happens between 20 and 40 wilderness, and although that's fine, we do want to encourage people to be able to use different builds because so many people have so many cool accounts that they just can't really use that right now because you have to go quite deep wilderness and then really high levels can attack you. So we want to change up the meta a little bit and mix it up and give those players something to engage with.
Awesome. I'm going to be a little bit cheeky and go over some of the rewards that are proposed. And there is a blog coming out if it's not already out. The wonderful CM team behind the scenes are putting those live as we speak. But we are looking essentially at some rewards that are really focused towards PvPers. And I think one of the main things to emphasize with this update, and I'm sorry if I'm stealing from your thunder here, Manx, but it's about targeting updates for people who really care about doing that type of content. So if you're a PvPer, this update's going to be for you. It's not about bringing non-PvPers in.
Not one for me.
As bait, for example. It's more about creating a hotspot that suits the type of players in the levels that we're expecting them to be in. And the way that we're going to be doing that is by targeting it with rewards. So the first reward that we'll be talking about, and just to preface this, these are all things as ideas at the moment. We want to essentially get your permission to say, should we look into exploring more of these or at least improving the wilderness? And then we'll consult on whether or not these will actually come into the game. But we have the Chivalry Prayer Scroll, which provides an alternative means to unlock Chivalry. Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so we don't want to change how players currently can unlock it because otherwise that's quite unfair. We don't want to force people, if they want Chivalry, to go to the wilderness and have to get it.
Seems weird.
As you normally
like,
would.
Chivalry's easy enough to get.
However, if you're a pure, maybe you can't do that quest and use that current prayer, we're going to give you a way to be able to do it. It's going to change up the meta for those accounts. It's going to let those accounts fight against higher...
Does seem very targeted.
Have those better prayers that they currently don't have access to. So it will just hopefully even it up, give more players more content to have access to, and it should just be great overall.
I think
maybe this is great for like PKers and wilderness players. I don't really know. It's not my area, so I can't really comment.
Because I had to do the audio read of that blog. Is that Chivalry is quite a dead prayer as it is. You know, it's not really used by many players because you
use piety.
Have access to piety if you've got access to Chivalry. And the actual benefits that you get from it are quite minor. It's like a 5% increase overall. But what it does do is it opens up PvP to be more accessible because your alternative to Chivalry is to use the 3 standard prayers. You know, the ultimate reflexes, ultimate strength, and whatever the steel skin, I think it is.
But anyone can get Chivalry. It's not
That's
hard.
like 3 extra clicks to do every time that you're switching, whereas you can instead just use 1 prayer. So for a lower level pure account, which is way more accessible and easier for players to get into, that entry point is like the perfect time to be getting into PvP. It will help that, and it also helps, as you mentioned, bridge that gap a little bit between different combat builds. We've also got Adamant Seeds, which will be Mithril Seeds that instead of pathing you west, will path you east. So it opens up a little bit more variety in terms of movement, your escapes, maybe even catching that clutch kill.
What have seeds got to do with escapes? I don't know anything to do with them.
Multiple times, I can tell you that. Which is a rare scroll that can grant you the ability to block the teleporting powers of the Elder Chaos Druids, because I imagine you're going to be spending quite a bit of time there if you're killing the pirates, right?
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I've had experiences where I've been just doing a Slayer task and I've been teleported hundreds of times when a PK is on me, so having that scroll would be very welcome.
Yeah. So in the grand scheme of things, it's actually quite, I don't want to say small, I think that's a bit disingenuous, but it's not like game-changing, game-breaking pieces of content coming in, but they actually make a huge difference to those type of accounts that really want that activity, need those changes. and should hopefully open up a lot of options for them too. So I have to ask, why do we want to create a new level hotspot?
Yeah, so just because, like I said earlier, because currently for those lower levels that have really unique builds, they
Back in 30 seconds.
to many places in the wilderness right now. You go to Revenants and sort of 20 plus wilderness level to actually go to it. So you have to fight people that are 20 combat levels higher than you, and then obviously you're quite mismatched, so it's not a fun fight. So this will just be a great way for lower levels. All levels can go to this technically if you want to go there and make some money, but lower levels especially will have a good chance, a good fighting chance against anyone who attacks them to actually go to the content and enjoy themselves.
Awesome, thank you.
What about the mechanics of the hotspot? How are they shaking up the wilderness meta?
So obviously, when you're below 30 wilderness, you can teleport very easily, and currently most people, if not everyone, will use the standard spellbook to be able to teleport block players so they can't escape that easily. So obviously, with this new update, we want the Elder Chaos Druids to be able to teleport block players and then they can't escape, which means that opens up players to being able to use the ancient spellbook below 30 wilderness, which is pretty much unheard of right now, and it should also be quite accessible for newer players. If you've never PvP'd before and you have to use a standard spellbook, that can be quite a handful. So just being able to use ancients will just hopefully really help those players PK, and it should just overall make it a lot more accessible for players.
Awesome, thank you. I mean, how excited are you for this potential update?
I've wanted to talk about this for months now. I'm so happy to talk to everyone about this now and to talk to the players about this potential update and see what everyone says.
I'm just looking at the Varlamore blog.
The areas of the wilderness that just don't really see much action anymore.
While they're talking about PvP stuff.
Looking to introduce as part of this update.
Yep.
Apparently there's going to be 2 quests in the initial batch.
Give some quality of life.
One's already been released. Oh, so just one quest basically.
I think we want to look into the
second quest will continue the story as soon as you can access the city of Civitas Illa Fortis.
I think also the
It will be an intermediate quest with appropriate rewards.
items you can alch per
Help you get a footing in the region.
If you're willing to bring 1,000 rune plate bodies, for example, then
Coliseum.
you could alch 30 at a time, for example. So if you've got loads of stackable items, you can get through them really fast, but you need to be willing to take the risk because you never know, PK could be there.
That is actually a really interesting way of changing things. So all information about those extra little changes that we want to make, they're included within the blog, or at least touched upon. So make sure you go check that one out. Lots of exciting things. And I think one thing that I just want to emphasize here is that what we're really trying to do with this change and a lot of the wilderness improvements is see how we can really organically try to bring in more activity to the wilderness, but focusing on those people who want to be there. You know, it is really about trying to create these hotspots in a natural way with rewards that make sense for the type of people that will be going there, that have absolutely zero impact on anyone else in the game should you not be interested in it. These aren't things that you can...
Oh, the new quiver! The designer's quiver from Coliseum has a very cool effect. You charge it with up to 2 types of ammo, and it automatically selects which applies to your current weapon. So you can put bolts and arrows in it, and if you swap, you don't have to swap your bolts or arrows. It's in the quiver. That is very cool.
Players that have helped.
It also has +1 range strength and +10 ranged accuracy. That is very cool.
Would love to hear it, and fingers crossed we can see.
So definitely something that would be good to get hold of.
Okay, Kieran.
The throwing gloves seem cool as well.
Whoopsie earlier when it came to.
And definitely the Sunfire Fanatic stuff.
Announce who has managed to win this wonderful board game.
Board game, all these miniatures. Maybe I want to paint them as well. All right, who's won? Winner number 1 is Reynolds.
Woo! Woo!
The
Ovo.
Perilous Moons dungeon thing.
Let's go, Hugo!
They recommend a combat level of 75 or more, and defense is key. So like,
final giveaway of the night.
That seems reasonable for most people to be able to participate in.
We've got some great news.
Even if they're not too late in the game.
Some more plushes throughout this Winter Summit. we are so excited to bring you this new range. You've seen a few of them featured already. I'm going to lean over and get my little baby elf.
Some cool armor and weapon sets as a reward. We've got the Hunter Guild. That's going to be out 2 months.
How detailed these are. They feel incredible.
Moths, antelopes, jerboa.
Saw Vorkath being held by Mod Other earlier. We have Mod Mank.
Hunter meats and food.
Which is, they're honestly genuinely incredible. I don't know if Mank,
Mixed hide, yeah.
show off both of them. I'm going to use you as my model now.
Hunter
Because
spear.
I got told off last time for being too awkward with them. So I'll let you guys fanboy over them whilst I read through. So yeah,
Some sort of pouches for Hunter as well.
and Vorkath in plushie form. As you can see, KBD and Vorkath are both jumbo plushes. Each of them come with accessories, including their very own set of dragon bones. Aww, that's apparently what I was meant to say. Now, keep in mind that these are limited edition, so once they're gone, they're gone.
Cool, yeah. Varlamore stuff looks good.
Then be sure to order them while you can.
Varlamore stuff looks good.
For our very first giveaway, which is of Elvarg, that's Meow Live, use ! Discord to get a link to the server and check out the giveaways channel.
2 months, looking forward to that.
The store itself, !makeship, will give you a link there. And it should also make you aware that there's a multi-buy discount if you want to get more than one. If you buy 2 of them, it's 10% off. If you buy all 3, you get 15% off across the range. So remember, !Discord.
I don't feel like they've shown us anything yet.
Discord channel to enter.
Honestly.
And
There's nothing new so far.
Store. We're giving away a total of 3.
Other than the HD bollocks.
Every 5 minutes or so in the hashtag giveaway channel in that official server. So head on over there, Meow.
We already knew Varlamore and Sailing, and they didn't really show us anything new on either of those, just a bit more of them.
Why don't we go into the next reveal? And this one's a good one.
Good. Give me something good. Come on. Ooh, this looks cool. This is a red.
Such a pathetic concept.
Looks like a red.
As your heroes lie defeated, ask yourself this.
Is that Duradel?
Truly have any hope of stopping me?
Ozayak?
Power. That is all that matters.
I'm getting hype. Let's go. I don't know what that glowy egg is, but I want to know what the glowy egg is. Oh, Majorat storyline.
Master of the 1,000 curses.
So is this following on from DT2 into a raid?
Look upon my works and despair.
His works. Woo! Is it a quest or a raid? I don't know, that was a cool trailer.
Of all the many storylines found in RuneScape, few are as memorable as the Majorat series. And of all of the quests in that series, none are as iconic as While Guthix Sleeps. Originally released in 2008, this quest set a new standard
It's a
for
quest.
storytelling in RuneScape. Now, in 2024, While Guthix Sleeps is finally coming to
Okay,
us.
I'm less excited.
At long last, you'll be able to re-experience this epic adventure as you set out to try and stop a deadly Majorat from obtaining a powerful artifact unlike any other. But don't get too comfortable. Anyone who's played Desert Treasure 2 will already know that the Majorat storyline is taking its own path in Old School. As such, you can expect various changes to the original quest to keep it in line with our vision for this story, along with various quality of life improvements to ensure that it matches up to the standards of a modern quest. To say any more,
I mean, it's still cool. Like, the trailer was good.
about today is new rewards. When it launched back in 2008, While Guthix Sleeps introduced to us the unforgettable Tormented Demons, along with their iconic drop, the Dragon Claws. However, when it comes to bringing this quest to Old School, that leaves us with a bit of a problem. Dragon Claws have been in the game since the release of the Chambers of Zeri, and many of the iconic aspects of Tormented Demons have since been used across other creatures, most notably the demonic gorillas. With this in mind, we need to take a new
Makes
approach
sense.
when it comes to the rewards on offer from this Grandmaster quest.
It's a
Now,
Grandmaster quest.
note that we're still in the early days on this, but we're keen to share our ideas with you nice and early so that we can ensure they're the direction you want us to take. Firstly, regarding Tormented Demons themselves. With how iconic they are, we're still very keen for these creatures to be
Complete rework, though.
from While Guthix Sleeps. But that leaves us with some important questions to answer.
You can't just make demonic gorillas again.
Mechanics, or should they have something new? Should we move
If that's what they
Dragon Claws
were.
to drop from them instead of coming from Chambers of Zerek? Right
Both.
now, our thinking is that we give them new mechanics and new drops to set them apart from
Nah, give him declaws. I want declaws easy.
Next, and perhaps more exciting, is a brand new reward, the Rites of Balance. Before we get into them though, let's talk about the Ruinous Powers. Most people will be familiar with the Ruinous Powers, a new prayer book that was originally going to be offered as a reward from Desert Treasure 2. Unfortunately, after multiple stages of refinement, we made the decision not to move forward with them. However, we promise to later revisit both them and new prayers in general, and that's exactly what we're doing with the Rites of Balance. The intention with the Rites of Balance is to do something a bit different from the Ruinous Powers. Rather than a whole new prayer book, we'd like to introduce something called God Alignments.
Okay.
The idea is that God Alignment prayers are a small set of prayers that are part of your main prayer book.
That sounds
Prayers
good.
vary depending on your current God alignment, but you can only be aligned to one god at a time. The idea originally came from a popular player suggestion that we absolutely loved. And with While Guthix Sleeps, we're hoping to introduce the first god alignment in the form of some Guthixian prayers, the Rites of Balance. But
That sounds sick.
God alignment system with only one alignment
Yeah.
would be quite boring. So we're already
You need at least the base 3.
alignments could focus on. And yes, that includes introducing the Zerosian alignment as an additional reward from Desert Treasure 2. So there you have it, the return of RuneScape's most iconic.
That sounds cool.
With an exciting selection of new rewards.
I like that.
No,
That's a good update.
Iconic Majorat quest making a comeback. Many of you will have already noted that we're missing one key requirement for While Guthix Sleeps in Old School, so we're happy to confirm that Defender of Varrock will also be making its return this year. Just like with While Guthix Sleeps, this will be the
Yeah, I don't know these quests. I never played the RS3 shit, so.
Majorat storyline, along with a range of quality of life improvements as well. And with that, all that's left to say is thank you, and we look forward to sharing more information with you very soon.
Seems good. I like the idea of, rather than switching the prayer book, expanding it.
So I remember playing.
That is a very good idea. And it's not surprising. It comes from the community. The community knows best.
Those of you who've been paying attention might have seen we released a big Majorat quest last year called Desert Treasure 2.
Yeah, a little bit.
And now, obviously upcoming, Defender of Varrock and While Guthix Sleeps. From now, it's time to talk to Mod Ed to find out more. So, is it getting old yet?
You're just so bad at doing it naturally.
Right. Questions. Let's start with Defender of Varrock before we get to the big one.
Wait, no, there's a big question before then.
Is there?
Moded, how are you doing?
You are unbelievable, both of you.
What? How was that a response?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm doing well, thank you.
I'm feeling good. I'm on top of the world. I'm glad that you.
He took that as a compliment.
Sorry. So, obviously, Defender of Varrock. Before we get to the bigger While Guthix Sleeps, like we've released
Baller move.
We've done them before, but it's the first time we're doing this for a quest. What is the process like for taking the quest from 2008 and making that work?
Yeah, it's as you say, like bit of a new one for us. You know, we've sort of we've tested the waters a bit by bringing Path of Gluffrey and Land of the Goblins in, but they were quests that we already had like pretty much complete in the old school backup. So with Defender of Varrock and of course with While Guthix Sleeps, it's going to be taking a quest from after that, taking a quest from RuneScape and bringing it into old school. And yeah, people will have heard us use the word backport before, but I'm here to abolish that word today because what we are sort of looking at with these is, I guess if you look at like what other games do, if maybe some of the stuff we've done in the past would be the equivalent of when games get a remaster, like we've just ported it over, like we've kind of done that I guess with like Nex and with the quest I just mentioned. What we're looking at with Defender of Varrock and While Guthix Sleeps is more what we'd call a
remake. Yeah. Not remaster.
We're grabbing the stuff from RuneScape as a starting point, and the tools team have given us this amazing new suite of technology to be able to do that in a way.
Sounds good.
Do for other stuff, but pretty much actually as soon as we've got it working in old school, the first thing we're doing is then taking an axe to a lot of it. It is really important that these quests they're old school quests.
The development team does know what they're doing.
Defender of Varrock is sort of like the test bed for this.
I don't think they know what to focus on to
a smaller quest.
appeal necessarily.
Work out the best way of doing doing things, so we can.
But they know what they're doing. They know the process.
Very much making sure that we're not just, for lack of a better description, copying and pasting. But then at the same time, you know, what would be the point of doing this if we weren't still staying true to those stories? Defender of Varrock itself was written by Paul Gower. Like, as far as old school RuneScape goes and nostalgia, like he's a fairly important guy.
Yeah,
so
you could say he's up there.
yeah, you know, like he's like what like top 10 maybe. So it's really important that we still stay true to that sort of that rich legacy. Like that's what old school is all about, the rich legacy at the end of the day. And bringing these quests over, it's very much about sticking to that. So yeah, that's why I like using the term remake. It's something that it stays true to the story that they were telling. It stays true to those quests. This is still Defender of Varrock.
Yeah, it's the correct way to call it.
And it's going to be the exact same when we move on to while Guthix Sleeps as well. But I mean, as we saw in the trailer, like this is while Guthix Sleeps. So it's not anything else, but it's going to be the old school take on while Guthix Sleeps.
Awesome. I mean, that sounds like the best way to approach it by all standards, I think.
We have the benefit of hindsight, and we'd be ashamed not to use that as well, right? To improve where we can spot improvements and so on too.
For sure. So assuming that players want it, because obviously it's got to get through the green light, when can we expect to see Defender of Varrock in old school?
So yeah, as I mentioned, because we've sort of been using this as a sort of like a test bed to sort of like see if we see what we can do and see how this sort of process would work for future quests. The nice thing about that is that if players want it, we can actually deliver it very soon. In fact, if people vote yes in the poll, we'd be looking to deliver Defender of Varrock next month.
Wow.
Awesome.
That's soon.
Extremely soon then. All right, this
I'm guessing that's a smaller quest. I don't know.
Make sure you do when it does go live. Head over.
I don't know much about the quest line originally.
We are looking to consult the community on some of the rewards from that quest as well. So we need your help to make sure that they are as good as they can be ahead of its release. So we are going to be working non-stop to make sure that happens.
So Defender of Varrock aside, there's the much bigger elephant in the room, while Guthix Sleeps. How does it feel to be bringing that iconic quest, one of the most iconic quests in RuneScape history, to old school?
I think it's both, fair to say, exciting and terrifying. It's very much sort of like I was saying in that, you know, we're just talking about Defender of Varrock being quite an iconic quest, wanting to stay true to, you know, what they did there, but also make sure it's very fitting and old school. But you take while Guthix Sleeps, you're talking all of that times 10. This is, you know, let's not beat around the bush. Like as most people will say, even now, all these years later. But while Guthix Sleeps is their favourite quest. It is the greatest quest I've ever played. And
does anybody in the chat know this quest?
you can certainly probably still admit that it was the one that changed what storytelling.
Is anyone at all familiar? Because I'm not
It was
at
one that
all.
was a very clear step up in sort of like the standards and things like that. So it is a bit daunting to be bringing something like that into old school, especially as I was saying, like how do we make sure that we stay true to this quest, make sure it is still very immediately recognisable as while Guthix Sleeps, but make sure that it also feels like an old school quest, both in the gameplay, obviously 2008, a bit of a while ago now, like things have moved on a little bit. We were obviously we've been looking over these quests already, and one thing while Guthix Sleeps loves to do is you have to right-click everything. There's like hidden right-click options on everything. It's like a bit janky, especially on mobile, things like that. Obviously, you want to tie up in the gameplay side, but also
Stop optimizing things for mobile.
as you mentioned earlier, there was a little quest we launched last year, Desert Treasure 2. Nothing particularly exciting happened in it, but it does still mean that there's some slight maybe differences happening in the Marjarat storyline, and making sure that that our version of while Guthix Sleeps.
Yeah, I hope it ties in, because that's an interesting storyline.
What Desert Treasure 2 did, and I think some people might remember when we've talked about this before. I think when we did the lore Q&A after DT2 launched, I think I remember saying then that the way we're viewing the Marjarat storyline is that we have these two sort of like major threads coming together. One of the really nice things about the Marjarat storyline is that it's not very linear. You start with individual Marjarat quests, they don't seem interlinked, they all start coming together, and we've started to see now they've been like combining to create these two major threads. We've got Desert Treasure 2 and, spoiler alert, Sliske and the Elder Horn. And obviously, spoiler alert for 2008. I'm really sorry if you haven't played it, but and also we showed it all in the trailer. So oopsie daisy, Luciad and the Stone of Jas, and then culminating together in our own Marjrat finale. So one thing
That'll be the raid.
Right now is we're not going to be doing our own version of Ritual of the Marjrat. In fact, there will be a different finale. We're not going to be looking to do a remake or remaster, backport, whatever you want to call it.
I hope.
So
If there's a Marjrat raid, that makes sense. Well, like, you fight each of them.
Fits with what we're planning to do for that big epic quest that comes at the end of it all. But that's one to talk about another day.
Yeah, maybe in a different summit at a later date, not for right now. But very interesting, at least. It's definitely good to keep, good to know that it's been kept in mind. Now, the quest itself isn't the only iconic thing on the menu. We've obviously talked a little bit about rewards and that kind of stuff. And there's the infamous Tormented Demons. I remember them so well back in the day. They obviously used to drop Dragon Claws. We have those now in Chambers. What are our plans with the Tormented Demons in Old School?
So, kind of a similar attitude to the quest, but it's a little bit more awkward with Tormented Demons. So, like, we want to take that same attitude of these are very iconic, very memorable. As you say, like everyone remembers, like fighting them both in the quest itself, like that big moment at the end of the quest where you fight them, and also obviously having them after the quest as well. Like we want to retain that. They're a very important part of this. So, like we will be doing Tormented Demons as part of Guthix Sleeps, but probably even a bit more so than the quest itself. They kind of do need to take their own direction because we kind of already copied them. A few years ago, when we didn't have the benefit of hindsight and never thought we'd be doing Guthix Sleeps, went, yeah, let's just do that and put it in Monkey Madness 2. And now we're sat here going, crap, we shouldn't have done that, should we? But we're here now, so we need to find that sort of mid-ground between retaining like what made them iconic, but also giving them something new and fresh. That's both in their mechanics, the way you fight.
So you maintain the appearance?
But also, obviously, the rewards. As we mentioned in the video earlier, we've got a bit of a dilemma there with the dragon.
Well, that's basically pets, right, John?
Copied those as well. They already exist with our forward thinking back with Chambers of Xeric. So
I think it would be a sad Old School though if we didn't have claws in for as long as it's been around now. I imagine waiting 10+ years would be a bit of a a sad day.
So yeah, there's sort of that question there of like, do we take them out of Chambers of Xeric, put them on Tormented Demons? You know, we've done that before with other dragon items from Chambers of Xeric. Even now, there's still sort of like often a consensus that Chambers of Xeric probably has a few too many rewards. Though obviously, as we saw when we've moved other dragon items out of Chambers of Xeric, their value did drop because they became more common.
That's fine.
To be honest, nobody gave a crap about doing that for those dragon items. Someone probably really actually cares, and I'm probably really upset.
I mean, those dragon harpoons from Worms, I was grateful for it. I got one of my irons, so you know.
Someone's probably like, how dare you? Like the stack of 1,000 I had in my bank, you destroyed.
Pets are like the ultimate cosmetic.
It's because most people really didn't want to see that dragon sword.
Because they don't actually fuck with your gear.
Their value was only because they were coming from Chambers of Xeric. They weren't actually really valuable.
With
So
claws a little bit
it was probably
different,
okay if it was dropping value, but yeah. Bit more of a question mark with claws. Do we want it to drop in value? Probably not, but so we'd probably have to make them rare if we did do that. And even then, we'd probably still want to do something new as well. So there's a few things for us to think about there, what direction we want to go in. We're going to be asking a couple of, on the poll later, we're going to be asking a couple of sort of like opinion questions, sort of like gauge what direction people want us to take with those.
That's the beauty of what we do here, isn't it, right? Is that if we can't make a decision ourselves, and well, pretty much always when it comes to something like this, we ask you what you want, because you're the ones that will be playing for the rest of time just alongside of us.
I want Dragon Claws, motherfucker.
The decision of what actually happens with those, so really looking forward to seeing how it goes.
Give me the claws!
I don't know what to do, you decide.
He's alright this age, isn't he?
Yeah. You can tell who the community manager is.
Other thing I've been sat here complimenting you and I've lost all my talent.
Kieran, you will never lose all of your talent. You're literally purely bred out of talent, mate.
We mentioned the God alignment system. We mentioned that it's this awesome community idea.
Yeah.
Really, why have we decided to try and take this forward?
Because it's good.
So, like, honestly, like, I mean, no, like, the credit entirely goes on the players for this one. I know, I'm surprised too. But, you know, this suggestion came from the player base, and we absolutely fell in love with it. It's fair to say we got it a little bit wrong with the ruinous powers, and they came out with a suggestion, and we just absolutely fell in love with it. And to be honest, ever since then, we were sort of thinking about what would be the best way to do this. And when we were thinking about rewards for while Guthix sleeps, like, we knew we wanted to do more than just for tormented demons, not just because, you know, it's something people have seen before and we wanted to do something new, but also when we look at other Grandmaster quests we've done, they have a bit more reward-wise than what Guthix Sleeps did. So we knew we wanted to do something new. We knew that we really wanted to explore this god alignment idea, and they just fit really nicely. Like a quest about Guthix where you uncover like the lost secrets of Guthix, including this ancient temple where he's hidden all sorts of bits and bobs. Like, it just fit as a really good opportunity. And I think one of the other nice thing about Guthix Sleeps is sort of like it gives us a bit of time to explore that as well, because we're not having to focus so much on designing the quest because somebody already did that quite a few years back. But we have a bit more time to sort of really dig deep into what a god alignment system could look like. So obviously the real challenge isn't also just the first god alignment with the rites of balance for Guthixian prayers, but also it'd be a bit of a rubbish god alignment system if it was only ever had one. As we said in the video, we're really keen to explore.
Yeah, you need all 6, right?
Like, how could we like take what we had with ruinous powers and like combine it with a god alignment system, and maybe like a new form of ruinous powers like would be delivered through the god alignment system. And as I think we said that, you know, we'd want to do that as as a new reward for Desert Treasure 2. But you know, there's plenty of other gods out there as well. Like thinking about how can we make sure
Get base 6.
those all work. So obviously it's all very early days.
Is Bando's Big High War God?
So, you know,
Because if not, I think we want Big High War God separately. But I think that's Bando's, isn't it?
we won't do it. Like, we don't even if it works in a sense that we can come up with one really good god alignment, we need to be able to come up with multiple. So even if we come up with one good one, we still probably won't do it.
I mean, it's got to be easy enough to do Sour, Zami, and Guthix.
And, you know, start with this Guthixian one, but then be able to deliver more, hopefully a few fairly soon after, because again, a bit of a rubbish god alignment system, you're only aligned to one god, even if it's for...
They've basically got the ancient one already.
They might add another one, like, so we'd probably want to be in a place where we'd feel comfortable saying, right, you're getting the Guthixian ones now, we're doing the Zerosian ones, maybe like, I don't know, like,
At the same time.
people will start me, I'm convinced, I literally just said...
A little while afterwards.
Yeah, I literally just said we're not promising everything, we might cancel it altogether, and now I'm already trying to...
An undetermined amount of
there
time.
We go, soon TM.
Yeah.
But I think people get the point I'm sort of trying to make, but we want to make sure that we can, you know, deliver a god alignment system that has multiple different god alignments that all feel like you know, notable choices, but you're never just sticking to the same one. That there's reasons to jump back and forth between them.
Like a spellbook swap,
Oh, it
but
sounds great. I think
doesn't fully change your spell, your prayer book.
It's a really good way of us approaching it, and I love the way that
You get to keep the base prayer book.
The quest itself is, you know, basically designed. Yeah, there are tweaks that are going to be made, but a lot of the focus can be on that. Whereas with Desert Treasure 2, it was a brand new quest, a whole bunch of new bosses, all the uniques from them, and then the prayers on top. It was just way too much to handle. But thankfully, we still got to try it out in the leagues though, which was really, really fun. So it gave you a little bit of a taste of what you can expect with new prayers and how that can change up the meta. So really, really excited to see.
Yeah, I look forward to all that stuff.
Check out the full blog. I want to say a huge thank you, Ed, for joining.
Not a big fan of quests generally, personally, but
of the full
quest reward space is.
And do some little technical work behind the scenes. So,
do I?
Yeah, I think so. Unfortunately, maybe you're not going to be so okay now. I shouldn't have asked how your day was. Can we show up the image of the roadmap, please? What have we got in store for us? Fill in all the blanks. There we have it.
Is this everyone?
States where we can. So we've got Scuras literally coming out next week, the first update following the summit. Really excited to see how that one goes down. I think it's going to be a great new piece of content for everyone to get engaged in. Obviously, the focus of Scuras being combat experience, but it really is meant to be helping to bridge the gap between low level to high level PvP.
I mean, it's a decent amount.
To explore.
I feel like there's not much coming in this early portion before Varlamore, but that makes sense because Varlamore's going to be big.
XP rates for combat in the game, and then you can snag some juicy.
This could be interesting if there's. If it truly is some of the best XP rates of combat in the game.
Next month,
Like, I need to trim my combat stats.
The next Margerat story, as Mod Ed has just talked about.
really exciting. It really sets up the later one down the line.
It really does. And then shortly afterwards, also in spring, we're hoping to bring out that wilderness update that we talked about with Mod Manked. Now, this is obviously isn't Deadman, because you can see that's a little bit later in the year, but we have a really great opportunity for the first half of this year to look at making some general improvements to the wilderness, spread some love out to those underutilized, or at least accounts that can't really get the access to fights that they want to as easily, by introducing a new low-level hotspot at the Chaos Temple.
Way too niche.
Rewards that are specifically for people who care about PvP. So I really love the fact that this is something that if you don't care about PvP, you don't have to worry about the update. If you care about PvP, then it's absolutely full.
Well, I have to worry about it because it takes the slot out of potential things that I can care about.
Whopping big Varlamore area expansion on March 20th. There's so much content here. There's a Coliseum with a new wave-based minigame. There's a thieving activity in the sea. There's a hunter guild. Help me out here. What else we got?
We also have the new agility course, although I do have to say I've been advised that to inform you all that out of the entirety of Batch 1 with Varlamore's expansion, the agility...
Why did you mention it just now then?
...is the one that's not going to be ready on the 20th of March. Everything else turned into much more of a priority. That's going to be coming a little bit later on, but you won't have to wait a huge amount of time. So yeah, an absolute jam-packed full with content. You are going to be keeping yourselves busy for months with all of that.
The Nagwas, the barrows like bosses in the dungeon, the dwarfs. There's, honestly, it is massive.
Although they're coming in batch 2.
Perilous Moons? No, that's batch 1.
Batch 1 is the Coliseum and the Hunters Guild. And Perilous Moons. Oh no, you're right, it is batch 1. It's Perilous Moons, isn't it? Oh my god, it's late.
Oh man. But honestly, it is huge. And that's without, like, the content's one thing, but obviously you have this huge serving platter of this area to explore and find out the new stories, the quests in there. I think the list is long. It's going to be an unreal release.
Yeah, I think what you should do, because clearly I'm incapable of giving you the correct information, go and check out the blog. Oh my god, how good is that? What a great way to inform you to check the blog out.
Yeah, to be fair, he's right. Like, I went and looked it up
It's one of the
earlier.
we have out there. We've condensed all of the previous blogs that we put together.
There's a decent amount of information in there if there's stuff in Varlamore that you're interested in.
After Varlamore Batch 1 releases, we can talk about Deadman again, because it's going to be coming out in the summer. So a whole new Deadman experience. We're going to be learning a lot from what we did in the Apocalypse, improving upon that. As Mank mentioned, he's got pages and pages and pages of feedback. Super enthusiastic team. Really looking forward to seeing how that one comes out. And it's always great being able to just watch everyone get involved and just play old school a little bit differently.
And while Guthix Sleeps, another massive quest in the Margaret storyline that's building, is still part of longer term plans. It's going to be incredible to see that, like, one of the, if not the most iconic quest from RuneScape history come to old school.
Trailer was very cool.
Fashion in the summer of 2024.
No idea about the original quest.
For years, so it is good that when we finally get back to doing Q&As, people aren't going to be asking us about Guthix Sleep when, although they probably will, because they want to.
What about when Zamorak sleeps?
I mean, what if he just never sleeps?
Yeah,
You know,
And no rest for the wicked.
he probably is awake all the time. I mean, he's got demons and stuff to control.
Fair enough.
Can't win wars by being asleep, can you? And then lastly, we have Varlamore Batch 2 coming out in summer 2024. That will include the Aldurin not the mountains. It's not the Aldurin Mountains. It's the Aldurin Island. Oh my god, hold on. Let me scroll back up. It definitely has been too long of a night. But we have a new Herblore activity, 2 new quests. Oh, it was the Island of Aldurin. I was really close. And then Hailstorm Mountains, which includes a new group PVM encounter, which we're hoping to have as an overworld boss as opposed to something being instant. So that would be really, really interesting to see how that one goes down. Super exciting, an absolute jam-packed reveal for this summit. Really, really exciting. And obviously as well, things that aren't in the roadmap, but we talked about HD. There's a blog about that. If you missed it, check it out. You'll be able to see all the YouTube videos and such as well. They're linked within the blog, so you can get all the information that you need in regards to them. But that
I think that's wrapping up pretty much, folks.
Progress that we've made on our own HD.
I don't know if they've got anything else here for us.
It's obviously a toggle. If you don't want to play in HD, you can play in SD. RuneLight's not going anywhere. It is just us basically exploring and improving upon our tech to see what is possible. And really, really, really exciting things coming out this year.
Yeah, and an early exploration of a official plugin API as well alongside that.
Yeah.
Which is really exciting. And of course, a sailing technical alpha.
I'm just going to see if there's a Scuras blog as well, so we can find out about those experience, I guess, as we close this out.
The sees a whole new section of Gillinor to explore. But what we should probably explore is who won these fantastic plushes. Do you want to
Absolutely.
take the mic, Kieran?
So,
we just go to the news page.
We've got a lovely Vorkath and we've got a lovely King Black Dragon. They are absolutely incredible.
I can't find the Scurious
So
one.
some people are going to become parents today with these.
Aww.
Guess I'll look after them. Right, so who's one? Elvarg. We've got Jim in the house. Vorkath.
Okay, here we go. Scurious.
Historiandi.
They updated it.
That's always the challenge of these. And King Black Dragon is going to Jordan Berg.
Let's go.
Let's go.
So the rat-bone weaponry will be able to be used against all rat-type enemies.
You have not won tonight, and so if you didn't get lucky with your RNG, don't worry. All the
That's good.
where to get these items will be in the Winter Summary blog, which is live.
It is indeed. There we go. Just want to say a massive thank you to all of our partners, Makeshift, Steamforged, and Creator Crafted for the prizes, and congratulations to all of our winners. Codes for your prizes will be winging their way to you very soon, so keep an eye out for some messages from our lovely moderator team. Now it is time to announce that the poll for everything we have talked about should hopefully be live in game. So make sure
Go vote in your poll.
and vote. Find your nearest poll booth or open the account settings menu and check it from there. There is the community tab which has the poll module inside of it, so you don't have to go and waste any experience. So go and vote. Let us have your thoughts. Let your voices be heard. I'm literally losing the ability to talk properly now. It's too many compliments. They've got
Yeah, I'm gonna close this so I can read the thing. Alright, so the rat-bone weaponry effective against all rat-type enemies, not just Scurious and the Scurious activities. You can use it on other rats. I don't know if that actually matters. He has a pet. It's members-only content. Not drop irrelevant supplies for ranged and magic. Remove the charge system from rat-bone weapons. Spare rat spines can still be traded for XP lamps. Staff requires 1,000 chaos runes to cast, but you have 1,000 free casts of the spell after creation. Okay. I want to know what makes this a better trading method. Fortic. No attack delay in specific areas of the fight. Okay. So that's where a lot of the XP is coming from. There are portions. Let me read this properly. Let me get my RuneScape background music on. So we'll try not to give too much away about the fight, but there are several segments where you'll be able to bounce between hits with no attack delay, which is one of the mechanics using to deliver a good portion of the XP per hour while fighting Scurious. So that sounds like it must be large segments of the fight. I don't know if that's just with the rat-bone weaponry, or if it's with any weaponry, but if it is, then it makes sense why they think that this will make the XP better. It depends on how good the weaponry is in comparison to other stuff that you could be using to train your combat skills. If it can still hit a decent amount, then yeah, it'll be good. We hope this is a change that makes sense. Yeah, the no attack delay part is the most important part. Now works against all rat type enemies, not just Scurious and his brood. Are there any other rats that matter? There's just regular rats and giant rats, right? Like, they don't mean anything, so I don't think there's any rats that matter. Maybe there's were rats or something. I don't know. Brine rats, I guess. Like, I'm not sure if there's any other rats that matter. Don't like the idea of charging them. Okay, so you'd be able to get pretty much all combat lamps, even prayer. That's good. You get rat spines, you hand them in for combat lamps. Seems good. Need more decent ways to get combat experience. Other than like chinning or bloods. Scurrious pet, yeah, whatever. Cool. And runes and arrows that aren't relevant to the level of content will drop. Death runes, case runes, adamant arrows, rune arrows, and a bunch of other goodies. I mean, like, yeah. Death runes and rune arrows, I guess, are fine. Chaos runes you can sell for Tockle, so that's not too bad. No one gives a fuck about adamant arrows. No plan to make him free to play or hard mode. Cool. Significantly more XP than passive options like Nightmare Zone or Crabs, like I'm doing right now, like Nightmare Zone. It's fucking loud actually, that music, innit? Maybe it ain't for you guys. Yeah, I should be rolling a spliff, but I'm actively reading right now, so. In short, Ratbone Weapon lets you double down those XP rewards, so you need to get a bit crafty first. Defeat any rat spine, lovely, combine with a rune, a use short bow, or a battle staff. Okay. Faster version of the dragon mace. That's decent. That's not bad at all. And an MSB, where range strength depends on the tier of ammo you're using all the way up to rune. Okay. And then the staff seems a mystic staff. With its own built-in spend, so it's a powered stave, a new powered stave as well, but you can only use these against the rat enemies. You'll have the potential to add up to 10 damage to your current max hit when using the Ratbone weaponry against this critter. Okay, so melee strength 55 bonus on the mace has got to be the same as the D mace that they just described. So it hits as hard as a D mace, which it's pretty hard. Don't know if it has a spec or not, but that D mace hits decently hard in strength gear. But you can also add up to 10 damage to your current max hit. So it could be hitting could be slapping pretty hard. And if you then also have that opportunity to have like 0 attack speed, I guess it's like the 1-tick Skullfares at Wardens, I don't know. Yeah, Scurrious might actually be a decent combat training method. I'm not sure. It might actually be a decent training method. I'll definitely be interested to check it out. I mean, it's only a few days, right? It's coming on, I think they said the 24th was Scurrious. I don't know, maybe we still need to vote on it to get it to pass. But I think it's happening on like the 24th, if I remember correctly. I was on the roadmap page a second ago. Just go back to the roadmap page. Oh, it doesn't say the date there. Oh, it might here. Here we go. So we got Scurrious on the 24th. That's 4 days. That's Wednesday. Wednesday we get Scurrious. Be able to see if that's a decent training method. And then we get Defender of Arca in spring. So that's got to be like, if Varlamore's coming in March, Defender of Arc's got to come in like, I don't know, maybe like April, maybe even May. But it's before Varlamore, which is a bit confusing. Maybe Varlamore's just in the middle because it's the big one. I don't know if the Dwarf City has anything relevant. It says multiple new quests here, but I'm fairly certain if I go back to the roadmap, Varlamore Part 1. Boom. Quests. Yeah, when they say multiple quests, one of them that they're including is Children of the Sun, which is complete bollocks because that's already out and it takes 10 minutes. So it's one quest. We're getting one quest with Varlamore's release because we already have Children of the Sun, and it's not really much. We get a second quest in that storyline, an intermediate quest. So it's probably not going to take that long. You can probably get it done in an hour or two. The Coliseum's the main thing, isn't it? Like the main big piece of content there. But yeah, getting this quiver will be awesome. I was saying earlier, it has the so you can hold. It can hold bolts and arrows. And if you like swap between a crossbow and a normal bow, it automatically uses the right type of arrows. And I'm guessing it has the recollection effect as well still. If it doesn't, and it makes you pick things up, that'll be annoying. Maybe you can use Avers on it to give it that effect or something, I don't know. Throwing glaives seem cool. I like the idea of having a ranged way to reduce. Oh, is that not what this is? I thought it reduced the enemy. This is very cool. We definitely need a new prayer gear, because proselyte is... Who the fuck wants to wear that shit? You know what I mean? It's garbage. Sunfire runes... I don't know if they matter. Maybe they're OP and I can cheat my runecrafting levels up before they fix it. Who knows? Perilous Moons, I think, is going to be the sleeper. I feel like this is going to end up being more popular to a lot of players than the Coliseum. Because more people will be... If it's like a Barrows level thing, a lot more people will be able to engage with it from the casual player base. It's got some cool armor as well. The Maraca set. That's like a spell spear, and then what's this? Is he throwing arrows? Yo, that'd be so cool if you just had giant arrows and you just threw them. Not javelins though, just like arrows that you threw, because you are the bow. That'd actually be kind of lit. Is that set called Eclipse? Soon remaining burn damage. 20% chance to burn a target, burn deals 1 damage. That's pretty cool. It's kind of like the Vardavis axe if it hits you, the bleed. But maybe with a little fireball instead. It's pretty cool. Yeah, seems decent. Couldn't care less about hunting. Not gonna lie to y'all. Sorry if you wanted me to read all that. Mixed hide gear, who gives a fuck? Yeah, we don't get the agility, but there's a bone shard mining activity, which are used for worship, so it might be something to do with prayer. Yeah, so you take bone shards that you get with jugs of wine. We're mixing bones with wine. And you get some prayer XP. Okay, so new prayer training method, that's not bad. Pickpocketing, breaking and entering. Like, thieving's got plenty for it already. I think it's just more thieving activities, it doesn't matter. What's this? Every so often a street urchin will try and distract a wealthy citizen, and this will provide a 100% success chance for a short period and also let you auto pickpocket for the duration. They added Trickster to main game? Y'all seeing this? They added Trickster to main game? Every so often, but if it has a high failure rate, then you can pay a street urchin, right? So you pay a kid, and then you auto pickpocket for a couple minutes, and then you pay a kid, and then you auto pickpocket for a couple minutes, and then you get some keys, and you go rob some rich people. Seems alright. High value targets. Convert them into bone shards. Decent. Decent. Yeah, there's some good updates coming, y'all. I'm excited for some of this stuff. The prayer book stuff as well. Wonder if they'll show us anything about the Guthix prayer book thing. Doesn't look like it, but this was the original concept, I think. Yeah. That's a really cool concept. Oh, they want to add Seren as well? That's okay. Wow. Devoted altar. It's a really cool concept. More god books? Yeah, I was actually thinking this when they were talking about it, that you should be able to switch with a god book. That makes perfect sense. If you have the god book, you can switch to that alignment. It gives them another use as well. It might make the value of pages go up in main game, I don't know. But they've been low for a while, so I don't think that's an issue. 3 charges, but then you have to go to the devoted altar to charge them up. Or you can put a god page of any variety, even other gods page. That gives you a use for your spare pages as well. That's really good. I mean, this is just the suggestion stuff. This isn't like Jagex confirmed. This is the original fan-made suggestion. But these ideas are honestly really good. Whoever came up with this, shout out yourself. Because I don't know who you are. The chapel bookshelf. I mean, there's no issue with having 10 god books in your bank rather than 6. Like, man, this person fully designed every alignment. Obviously, it's not going to be balanced. I'm not going to bother reading it wrong because it's not actually stuff that's coming into the game. But this, he fully, like... Very cool. Very, very cool. Ninja Gamer 1337, I'm guessing. That's top-notch stuff. Top-notch. Right, pages used to be expensive as far as I'm aware, so... You got 14 people watching me right now? I'm just talking shit reading the patch notes. You're crazy? What are y'all watching? Hi, thank you for watching me. We're sort of at the end of the stream at this stage, but I don't know if there's anything anyone missed that they want me to go over from this lineup. But yeah, pretty much going to be closing off here other than that. Unless someone asks me to shed light on something here. What's Defender of Varrock? I hadn't really looked at that. I get a zombie axe. Didn't want to read them myself. No, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, I'm not reading all of them, and I'm only skimming through them. But yeah, I'll give you the cliff notes. It's all good. Also, the zombie axe is to fill a gap between a D-sim and a whip. I don't hate that. I'm literally using a D-sim right now on my Nightmare Zone AFK. Because I don't have a whip yet. I'm on an 82 Slayer. So, yeah, I don't hate that at all. Zombie axe seems good. I mean, it's not that you go from a D-sim to a whip once you hit 70 attack. It's that you need 85 Slayer if you're an Iron Man. Yeah, it looks like a little quest. I didn't read any of this crap, but yeah, seems good. Some requirements: 55 smithing, 52 hunter. Nothing too bad. You get some smithing and hunter XP. You just enjoy getting that. Well, I suppose I'll roll another one then. May as well roll another one. I'm giving people a chance. If there's any of these patch notes that, or update blogs that you'd like me to skim through and give you the cliff notes of before we close out this one, just let me know in the chat and I will do that. Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun to just chill and sort of trash talk how shit the updates they were giving us were. I feel like they've given us some good content, but we knew about it all already. And they haven't really told us anything about sailing. Unless there was something I missed. But okay. Getting on and piloting a ship there.
Woohoo! Big summer blowout.
Sorry, that's just my game telling me that my absorption's about to run out, but I'm not going to be AFK here for much longer, so I'm going to let it. What's this one? Multiple players can board a ship. Well, what's about the little man in the boat? I can't get over the man in the boat. The little man in the boat, man. It's the MVP. If we don't get tiny men in the boat in the actual gameplay version, I'm gonna be pissed. You can see other people's tiny man in the boat when they're passing. Is that public indecency? If you sail past someone and you show them your little man in the boat. I died. Oh well. I don't know. I haven't heard anything from him. I know he's been like watching all my content and shit, and been enjoying it. He's Santa happy. You might have seen him in the comments of a couple of videos. But yeah, like he works a lot, so he just didn't have the time to play. I know he was super excited about sailing, so if he does come back, it'll probably be when sailing happens. I'm kind of more, I guess, a solo Iron Man now, in a way. But I don't want to abandon the group, because if he ever does come back, like, I'd rather us still be in the same group together than not be able to interact with each other. Yeah, I don't think there's much else. We don't have a great deal of information about the Coliseum, like the actual... Like, I want to know how many waves it has, you know what I mean? It just says the early rounds, but get to the end. It doesn't, like, tell you how long it's actually planned to last. Right, well, I think that's going to be all from me, folks. We've pretty much covered all the news from tonight's stream. I'm looking forward to Scuras on the 24th to see if that is actually a decent way to train up combat, because as you may have witnessed in the corner, for most of this stream I've been training my strength levels up and I've barely moved an inch towards 91 even. But yeah, I don't know what the next video I'll end up posting is on the channel, but make sure you subscribe so you see it if you haven't already, and thank you for being here with me tonight. Slap a fat like on the stream if you've enjoyed yourself, leave a comment down below if you're watching this back later, and be great to one another, look after yourself, and I'll see you on the next one, whatever that is.